Friday, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3. The Fan launched the program this morning without a hitch. Excuse me. Everything is on point in the Ben and Woods studio. Thanks for being here, Katie. Absolutely nailed what I was just going to say. She said, good morning. Why are the short weeks always the longest? There is no doubt this week felt twice as long as a normal 5-day week, and it was a short week. It makes no sense. Our lives are a little bit out of kilter in here. We've had Italian Paul in. We've got Bald Reindl in, a.k.a. Adam Klug, producing the show this morning. Good morning, Kluger. How are you?
What's up, guys? How are you?
Doing well. You've got the hoodie on today. I really don't want to see it come up. I have one on too. I don't want to mess my hair up any more than my headphones already do. No, you don't. You're letting it grow back, huh?
I've had it like this for probably a good
I know.
6 months.
Well, it takes a while for hair to grow back.
Mine grows fast. It's just not that long.
Are you gonna
I cut it every 2 weeks or so.
You do? You're gonna keep it rolling?
I mean, not much more than this.
That's about as deep as you'll go.
If what you're asking is, will the fro come back? The answer is no.
All right. Well, it should. It should. It looked really good on you.
No, it didn't.
I'm Woodsy. That's Adam Klug filling in for Paul Reindl. We'll get to Paulie in a moment. We've got Benjamin R. Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well. Benjamin, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. My hair looks a little unkempt this
It does.
morning.
It actually looks kind of cool.
Just a little
Why don't
devil may care.
Yeah. Yes. Very rebellious.
I don't know why. I just maybe slept on it funny, and I don't have to go into TV until later today. I'm anchoring tonight
Slept on it funny, huh?
for Kimberly. Yeah, I could be going on the injured list with fractured hair for a couple of weeks.
I think that's a real thing in TV news.
It is.
My hair's not right. I'm not coming in. Paulie is doing really well. We DM'd with him, we texted with him last night. And, of course, he was sending us pictures of his food. And he and his wife, Megan, they go to Vegas. They go big. They go big when they go. Having a great time, eating some delicious. They had Din Tai Fung the other night, and it looked ungodly good.
I'm a big fan of Din Tai Fung.
Still haven't been. Still want to go. But then he sent us a picture of this burger. It's a Gordon Ramsay burger. And Ben and I both were like salivating over this thing. And he sent us this burger, and he said, this is the one I got. It's called the 24-hour burger. Braised short rib, red-eye barbecue sauce, white cheddar cheese, brown sugar bacon, arugula, cold brew vinaigrette, and pickled shallots. And it just looks incredible.
So, a couple of things. The bacon is not just bacon on a burger like you'd normally get, like a barbecue Western bacon cheeseburger at Carl's Jr.
Right.
It's spilling out over the sides. These are big, thick cuts of bacon on the burger.
I almost thought it was it looks like the bone of a tomahawk, where you could pick it up. You know what I mean? It's thick, and it's hanging over the side. It looks incredible. And then I texted him. I said, Paulie, dinner's on me tonight. Happy anniversary. Thanks for all you do. Ben said, I'm going to pick up the dessert. So we got the Reindl's meal last night, and they had for dessert. Listen to this. Mother of God. Toffee pudding ice cream sandwich.
That sounded really good.
I mean, good Lord.
Bring me back one as well, since I'm paying for it. I'll take one.
100%. And slice me off a piece of that burger. This could be a very foodie segment.
It looked delicious. I will say, since it's Gordon Ramsay, and it's
is he the mean guy?
Yeah, he's the one who yells at all the chefs on all of his shows. But he pronounces
the show's
it
called Hell's Kitchen.
Hell's Kitchen.
He pronounces it shallot, not a shallot.
Okay.
In this country, we say shallot.
Shallot.
But he says a shallot.
Shallot.
It's a pickled shallot.
It looks incredible. It really, really does. They are eating like kings. They don't drink, Megan's sober. Hold on. What's that noise? You guys hear that?
No.
You don't hear that?
Mm-mm. Nothing.
That's so weird. Something in my phones, maybe. They're eating, not drinking. They're eating like kings and queens there. The food looks incredible. They're having a great time. I saw Megan this morning posted. She just hit some jackpot on the slot machine. I'm like, man, she crushes in Vegas. She crushes. Hannah heard it too. Whose heartbeat is that? You guys didn't hear that? It's gone. Okay. Huh. That's so weird. It's just maybe me and my lover sharing something between one another telepathically over the radio.
They had a breakfast at 3 a.m.
3
one day. I
a.m.,
wasn't sure if
yeah.
they were up early or up late.
Or up late.
Could go either
My
way.
guess is
in
up.
Vegas.
My guess is up early, but who knows? So speaking of food, I did end up going.
I was wondering.
Yeah, I did end up going yesterday and to the county fair media VIP event. So met my wife in the parking lot, and we started walking toward, the signs telling us.
Before you talk about going in,
Yeah.
did you do anything to try and confirm your status or your credential or anything like that? Or you're saying you just showed up?
I didn't, but my friend, Tier 1 Chelsea, who listens to this program, she texted me. She goes, I have a friend that works there. I'm going to make sure you're all covered. And I said, well, thank you. Then Ben sent me an email that said, in very small print, if you RSVP, just show up. So I was waiting for some engraved invitation that never came. So we walked up, lady standing there. She's got the list. Stephen Woods, Odyssey. She looks at the
You're
first
nervous.
page.
At this
Yeah,
point.
I'm a wreck.
You're a little nervous.
I'm a wreck. And she looks at it. Hang on. Oh, there you are.
See,
Woods
there
plus
you are.
1. So there we go. We got our wristbands, and we walked in, and they did it a little differently this year, where they had it all in an like in the paddock. So they had all these different booths, and
The paddock is that area where during the horse races they walk around in a circle and there's grass in the middle. It's very, very, very pretty.
it was cool.
Yeah.
And they had different booths of different foods that you can eat and sample, and drinks that you can sample, and things like that. So I walked up. The first thing I saw was Chicken Charlie's, and I said, all right, what are we offering here?
Chicken Charlie is the fair legend.
He's
for
a fair legend.
He'll deep fry something different every single year.
Well, and this one, I looked at it, and I go, oh, looks like a corn dog. And they said, oh, I said, what's stuffed inside? Like Oreos and cheesecake mixed together with ham and turkey? Like, what is it? And
wouldn't actually be totally outside of the norm.
I would crush
for
that.
Chicken
I
Charlie.
would crush that too. It's like lunch and dessert
Ham and turkey,
in the
Oreo
same.
cheesecake.
Yeah, it's the same thing. So I pick it up. She said, this is mozzarella and meatball. There's a meatball in it. And I went,
deep fried meatball stuffed with mozzarella.
Bro, let me tell you.
Okay, that sounds
and they had
really good.
A
With
little
dipping sauce
they
of
had a little
marinara. I would think.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. So we got one. I put mine. I go, this is absolutely incredible. And then we walked to the next place. Now they had a ramen taco. The taco shell was made of ramen noodles. I can't eat ramen anymore. I don't eat it. There's also another cup of noodles.
So not like hard, crunchy ramen noodles, not soft ramen noodles. That would be tough to pick up.
That'd be very tough to eat. So they had there was a ramen noodle taco shell. And Hannah tried that. She said, that's okay. Yeah, it's all right. Then they had cup of noodles. They had some contraption that they were building out of that. Then we noticed that they had the cinnamon roll stand there. Now this is different. You know how you ever get the cinnamon roll at the fair?
Yeah.
Standard, right? Standard.
Of course.
We do too, every year. And
how can you resist it? You're walking out.
It's
the last thing, and you grab, okay, we got to get a cinnamon roll before we go.
So this is the winner, as she just said in the chat. It's the Tres Leches cinnamon roll.
Oh.
So they take this cinnamon roll, the guy flips it upside down, and he takes Tres Leches, it's like more liquidy than the thick icing. And he drizzles it on top, and you see it start to go down into the crevices, and then you see it fill the bottom, and you're like, oh God. Then he took some like creme brulee thing and started chopping up little flakes and flecks of it, and then a little whipped cream, and then the little flecks of that. And we split one because we're not ridiculous. We went over and sat down, and we split it, and you should have seen us fighting for it. It was like, I mean, we were like two guys in prison fighting over the last Snickers. Like, I'm digging in to try to get my piece. She wants to get her piece. And it was so good. So good. You know what else they had at Chicken Charlie's? There's a new drink that they're offering. I go, oh, this guy's pouring glasses of fresh Dr. Pepper. I love Dr. Pepper. Fresh glass of Dr. Pepper, sliced up like 4 pickles, put the pickles inside. Pickle Dr. Pepper.
They also had pickle lemonade.
Pickle lemonade.
Yeah, Marie Cornell tried that. She thought this is going to be weird, and then she said, "But I actually started liking it. It was strange, like an odd combination."
I didn't try it,
but if you are looking for an unusual flavor, maybe you want to go with pickle lemonade or pickle Dr. Pepper.
Pickle Dr. Pepper was a little much for me. So we made our way around. They had pizza there that was pretty good. They had some cocktails, which I didn't indulge in the middle of the day.
Was there anything non-food there for you to do or see or experience, or was it simply focused on the food?
They had like the Soapy Joe's stand with the Soapy Joe guy, and I knew a couple people that worked there. They had
did they wash you, or what did they
do?
do?
They washed us down. No, it was just like they had a couple of like booths there that were, hey, this is our pet thing. This is our toys drive for charity that we're going to be doing, things like that. There was a cow there, a Highland cow, as Hannah reminds me. They had a Native American drum circle that I don't think the cow enjoyed very much because it was right next to him. So yeah, we were there. We were there 30, 45 minutes, but we ran into a couple of people I used to work with. My man Mikey Dellinger, who used to work across the street. Ran into our old general manager, Bob Bollinger. Says hi, Adam. He told me a really funny story about Adam, if you guys want to hear it. Yes, this is fantastic.
I would love to hear this.
So he goes, hey, because he has a little bit of
Did he originally hire you here? Yeah. Okay. So he was GM when Adam first got here.
It sucks because everybody that with this accent, they all sound like my Shildt and my Foster and my hillbilly, but he's got the Southern twang. Bob does. He's like, how's Adam? I'm like, he's great. He's great. And he said, he started laughing. He goes, man, he's really grown into that job. I go, yeah. I go, he's actually filling in, producing for us. He goes, oh, I know. I was listening this morning. You guys sound great. I said, thank you. And he goes, oh, so funny. Remember when we got the boosters? And I go, I remember the signal boosters that they had to go around the county and put up boosters so our signal would be better.
Not the booster seat for Adam to sit on.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. Because apparently he's brand new here. And Bob Bollinger, the GM, and JR, the head engineer, they're like, JR's like, what'd you do to it? Get in the car. I'm going to take you around, see the boosters. And he's like, I got the car seat in the back for Adam. And that was his big joke. And apparently he wore Adam out about it. Every time they took him anyway. Hey, get in the car seat, little guy.
Sounds like they are.
Yeah, I was dying. Is that true? Do you remember that?
I don't remember that joke. He has a lot like that.
He does.
They all kind of run together.
He does. So he wanted to put Adam in a car seat in the back to drive him around the city to show him the boosters. But Bob's doing great, man. He's a legend in this business for sure. And just couldn't have been nicer and more complimentary of the show and the station, which is absolutely what I expected. He's always been a gentleman. And he's seen it all, man. Bob Bollinger was the guy that basically was the architect of Jeff and Jer in San Diego. And, he would tell me stories of those guys in those days and, how much he paid them. And it makes my stomach turn to think that those guys, we basically have the same numbers as they do. And they made, I don't know, 15 times more than we make. And it kind of turns your stomach when you think about it. But those were the golden days of radio, and not everybody had a friggin' podcast and everything else and stealing from us. And so, yeah, it's a little bit tough to stomach sometimes, but he was great. So it was fun, man. It was a great day at the fair. It's a little bit cold, but it's going to look amazing when they open it in a couple weeks. They were already getting everything out. I love it. I love the fair. I am absolutely
getting some of the rides set up.
Yeah, getting the rides set up.
When you go with Hannah, do you guys do any rides? The kids do, obviously, but do you guys go on?
No, we wait at the bottom.
You go to the kiddie rides.
Yeah.
Or is Bo starting to get to the age where he's going to want to go on some of the more
the scarier ones? Yeah. And if he does, I'll ride those with him. I actually do. I ride a couple rides. I ride the big swings. I mean, I do feel, when you go to it's a fair, and it's like, are we everybody good here? I did see the one Sopranos episode where the thing broke down and somebody got hurt, and it's kind of always freaked me out. But it's been great. It's been great. It looks great. Hannah got whiplash on Zipper in 2018.
Which one's the Zipper?
I think it's the one that whips around and like it goes kind of. You're in like a car and it tilts. Yeah. Okay. And so she has never been the same since. I'll never forget it. It wrecked her for a while. So she doesn't go on anything. I'll go on some of the rides with the kids, but it's a blast, man. It really is going to be fun. Everybody should go out and experience it. If you think, I don't know, it's kind of tough to get out there, just pick your days. There's days that are better than others to go where there's not that many people. And we go opening day. Like that's just been a tradition in our house forever. We just go brave it and slog through it because we love it.
I like a good Ferris wheel.
Save that.
Now, some people don't because they feel like it goes too slow and you stop and you get stuck.
I hate it.
When you get stuck at the top, you've got the view. You get to people watch from up there. I don't mind it. I only mind when you get stuck like just one from the bottom and you're just sitting there and you want to get out, but they're like taking forever and you're just one rotation from the bottom and then you're finally allowed to get out of the Ferris wheel.
Now, for those asking in the chat, no, I did not get lucky because of the VIP. I said there's a potential if I get into this thing, I get lucky last night. But
did you realize you're leaving her for this weekend?
Yeah, it kind of cancels each other out. Like, oh, okay, well, but you're leaving for the entire weekend for your spiritual journey. So that's not going to happen. Maybe when you get back, if you're good. But
looking forward to your trip this weekend. If he didn't hear yesterday, Woods is going up to Joshua Tree.
Yeah, once a year go on the the spiritual retreat and go roam the desert, howl at the moon a little bit. I'm very excited. One of my best friends, Jack. You guys remember Jack used to work here. Does the voice of Jack Saw. He is now a mailman in L.A. He's a dedicated tier 1. Listens every day. And
postal carrier.
Yeah, and we go up to Joshua Tree. We're going to try to find the old man and reverse the curse. If he's still alive, we are going to end up we feel that he cursed us last year, and we're going to try to reverse the curse.
You saw him right before the Dodger playoff series?
Yeah.
Is that
we saw him before that, and then Paulie saw him right before that game. That
you felt like that was perhaps a bad sign.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to go in, going to buy him a beer, lunch, whatever he wants. We're going to really look for him. If he's still alive, I'll be amazed. Because he looked like he fought in the Civil War. He dated Betsy Ross at one point in his life. I swear to God, this guy he was probably in his 40s during the Great Depression. That's how old this cat is. And he just sits at that bar at the Joshua Tree Saloon and he just pounds Coors Lights. And I'm like, son of a gun. So if he's there, we will reverse the curse.
You see the stories about, the unnaturally long lives, hey, he's 108. What's your key to success?
Beer. I drink beer.
Dram of bourbon every single day, whatever it is. I don't know that that's truly the secret of success, but you'd be surprised how many times that's the story. I have my one glass of Chablis every single night.
That's right. Yeah. 3 cigarettes and a glass of whiskey, and then I'm 108 years old. I mean, the guy was, no one was wheeling him in there to the bar. I saw him get up and walk out one time. Like he was on his own. So hopefully he's still around and we can go reverse the San Diego Padres curse.
All right. We are at the Friday edition of Ben and Woods, even though it was a short week. Did feel like it took a little while to actually get here, and should have a busy program for you. We will set the menu for you right after a quick check of traffic from Kelly Damick. No grap up or crap up. No game yesterday, but we will get you some baseball talk coming up. The Padres getting ready to start a stretch of 26 games over the next 27 days, beginning tonight. Just one off day between now and the 26th of June, and some tough opponents that are going to be facing off against your San Diego Padres. So pretty important that they get off to a good start this weekend against the last place Pittsburgh Pirates. Certainly some questions with the starting rotation. We'll get into all of that coming up and talk about some of the other news in baseball. The Dodgers make a trade, a nationally contender potentially losing a frontline starter to a serious injury as well. We can get into all the headlines and news. And then coming up at 7:35, it is Friday, so we will talk a little SDFC with our friend Darren Smith. Will be with us, coming off the 1-0 loss to the Seattle Sounders on Wednesday, but they're right back at it tomorrow night at Snapdragon Stadium when they host Austin FC. And some good news for SDFC yesterday. They extended the contract of goalkeeper CJ Dos Santos.
I like that.
Through the 2027 season with a club option. He's been a real find that they picked up. Expansion team. He was a backup with Miami, I think. Didn't really get a lot of playing time, but they made him the starter, and he's done a really nice job for this team that's gotten off to a good start. I would imagine it's a tough position to analyze because some shots you just have no chance to stop. Others are like, you better stop that one or you're the worst goalie in the history. And then there's kind of the ones in the middle, like
the 50-50 balls.
50-50, yeah, you get this one, you don't get this one. That's your entire career is based on those.
Yeah.
So the ones that you could get or you could let past you.
That's right.
And if you stop enough of those, you become one of the best goaltenders in the sport. And so far this year, I think his goals against average is fourth in MLS.
It's really good.
Really, really good for a guy who wasn't even a starter going into last season. So we'll talk to Darren Smith at 7:35. And of course, it is a Manager's Report Friday. You can tune in to the Manager's Report with Mike Shildt at 9 a.m. Refreshed by Eco Water SoCal. Try alkaline water for just $9.95 a month. Eco Water SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. And we'll talk with the skipper about this last week. Two straight series wins.
Yep.
So I would imagine he'll be in a fairly positive frame of mind. But
imagine trying to guess what kind of frame of mind Mike Shildt's going to be in. I mean, it's a fool's errand.
It's true. It's true. But we will chat with him one way or another coming up at 9 o'clock this morning. And then all of our regular features. Don't do this. We've got some Take on Woods at 8:20. Last chance this month, I believe, to qualify for the Las Vegas Grand Prize. Bruno Mars tickets and more. That'll be at 8:20. And a Klug report to wrap up our week in the 9 o'clock hour.
He's got such a banger of a story in there, too. I can't wait for you guys to hear this.
All right, we will get started with some Padres talk coming up. The big stretch of games, maybe a make or break. I don't feel like it's sportscaster hyperbole to say this certainly could be a make or break segment of the season. It may not be, but, it has the potential to be.
Well, and when we look ahead at June, as we did a little bit yesterday, it's also important you look at July, which is also pretty nasty as well. I mean, it's a pretty good streak here for our San Diego Padres coming up. It will tell you what kind of team you're going to have, Benny, at the All-Star break.
We'll get into all of that coming up. Stay tuned. Ben and Woods on the way next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
But first, Ben and I want to tell you about Trust and Will. It's usually your line.
Hopefully the guy in Joshua Tree has his all set at this point. If he's been around since the Civil War,
he actually had the first one in the United States. The very first Trust and Will was done from an attorney in 1866.
He can leave his seat at the Joshua Tree Saloon
That's right.
to someone.
That's
at some
right.
point. You actually can write out specific wishes if you want. If you're filling out a will, you ask you some questions online. It's very simple, and at the end of the process, about 20 minutes or so, you will actually have real legal documents that they will ship out to you, and then you can keep in, wherever you keep your important documents, filing cabinet safe for that eventual day that hopefully is a long time off, but you'll have the peace of mind of knowing that you have gotten this done and taken it off your plate.
Definitely something that you just need to knock out, right? So go to trustandwill.com, use the code FAN when you check out, FAN. You're going to get 20% off and free shipping of your estate documents. You get the documents, you throw them in a desk drawer, you forget about it, and never have to do it again. So get this thing done. It's a one and done. Trustandwill.com. Use the code FAN when you check out, and enjoy it.
Enjoy it. Yeah, absolutely enjoy it.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Pretty good roundtable yesterday.
I enjoyed the roundtable yesterday very much.
If you missed it, you can check it out on all of our streaming options here, Odyssey app, all of your regular streaming platforms. But
Should replay it at 9.
A lot of good discussions yesterday, including our conversation where everyone had to pick their first third of the season MVP for the San Diego Padres, which a couple of weeks ago, I don't think there would have been much of a discussion.
Yeah.
Would have been Fernando Tatis Jr. His numbers were just far and away the best on the team. But with Fernando going into a slump the last couple of weeks, kind of opened the door up to, I would say, like a half dozen guys who all had kind of a claim to be the most important cog in the first third of the season for the San Diego Padres. And all 6 of us got to pick someone different. Who did you end up going with?
I took Robert Suarez because Manny and Sheets had been taken. And Tyler Wade had been taken by Matt Scraby, who apparently took bath salts before he came into the roundtable yesterday. So.
Does love the contributions
he's
that Tyler Wade
he's
makes.
such an edgelord with his picks sometimes. He said yesterday on his show, too, if we're mad, what did he say? If we're mad at Xander Bogaerts for his lack of production, we need to be mad at you, Darvish. And I said, well, they're completely different things. One is injured. One is not injured. So that is kind of the line of demarcation for me as if I'm going to be mad at a player.
I know that
Scraby gets a little edgelordy.
I know that the players are probably not listening to the roundtable, but I can only imagine Michael King or Jackson Merrill going, wait, they picked a first, third MVP, and Tyler Wade got a vote, and neither of us got mentioned in this conversation.
There's zero mention of those guys.
Jackson Merrill, I know I was out for a little bit, but I put up some pretty good numbers out there. And
my numbers are still amazing
Michael
King's
like, pretty good pitcher here, going out there every fifth day. And I know it just got on the injured list, but Tyler Wade, really? I mean, yes, they do like Tyler Wade, and he has come up with a couple of important games for the San Diego Padres. I picked Nick Pivetta, who is tonight's starting pitcher for the Padres. I had the last pick, but I didn't feel like it was actually really a stretch of at all to say that Nick Pivetta perhaps has been one of the biggest difference makers for the Padres in the first third of the season, simply because without Nick Pivetta, if the Padres had not signed him late in the offseason, you try to imagine what the starting rotation would have looked like.
I don't like to.
At the beginning.
I don't like to.
They would have had to stick maybe with Kyle Hart for much longer than they did.
I don't like this game. I did not like that game.
And then once injuries happened and you brought up Stephen Kolek, you'd still have been an arm short every time through the starting rotation. I mean, Omar Cruz or Ryan Bergert, welcome to the big leagues on a regular basis. And, not that they aren't ready or might not contribute for the San Diego Padres, but there really wasn't a path to a full starting rotation without Nick Pivetta. And not only did he save, AJ Preller's rotation by being there and pitching every fifth day, but he was fantastic.
He really was.
Third of the season.
Yeah, he has been. And I ended up going with Robert Suarez because as you're trying to stack wins early in the season and guys start to go down. He at one point is locked down. What did he have to start the season? Like 15, 16 straight saves, something like that. I think he's at 17 right now. His ERA is 2.35. One bad outing for him yaks that ERA up. But he's been just such a calming presence at the end of a game. Those games, that's the guy, man. It's if I get my job done, we're gonna win this game. And for me, being able to stack so many wins early has really helped us weather a couple little mini storms.
Yeah, I mean, if you could, roll them all up into the bullpen collective. Again, there's been a couple of, hiccups and stumbles the last couple of weeks, but they were so good. For so long in that first third of the season that the bullpen collectively might have been the most important unit for the San Diego Padres that, got them to now 8 games above 500 for the first third of the season, which is 31 wins, on the pace for 93 wins at the end of the year. So, exactly where they want to be, because 93 wins should be enough to get you into the playoffs. I can't promise that. The National League's tough, but 93, I don't think has ever miss the playoffs in a 3 wild card team era. You get to 93, you can feel pretty confident that you're going to find a way into the postseason. So, Padres did what they had to do in the first third of the season, but now they're looking ahead at what is undoubtedly going to be a much tougher second third of the season for a number of reasons. And we can talk about those reasons after a quick check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Guys, I don't want to jinx anything, but right now we are looking at Friday-like conditions. We're not showing any incidents, accidents, brake lights, no surprises. If you are out there, feels like you got the roads all to yourself, we still encourage you to please keep your speeds down, be extra alert. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, so we mentioned already the sheer quantity of games coming up is one reason why the schedule is getting tougher for the San Diego Padres. During the first 54, pretty much had an off day every single week. They just had a stretch of 9 in a row, and that was their longest. But before that, it was usually every Thursday off, occasionally throwing a Monday off. There was plenty of built-in time to give your starter some extra rest, give your bullpen some days off. You were able to be aggressive with the usage of your back-end guys like Estrada and Adam and Morejon and Suarez. Didn't have to really worry about it. That is no longer the case going forward. Starting today, 3 against Pittsburgh, 4 against San Francisco on the road, at Milwaukee for 3, home for the Dodgers for 3, at Arizona for 3, at the Dodgers for 4, home for Kansas City for 3, and then home for the Washington Nationals for 3 games. There is not an off day built in that entire stretch other than the 12th of June between the Dodgers series and the Diamondback series. That's the only one.
And yeah, it's one of those gauntlets that you're going to have to run into, a couple times a season. You're going to end up running into something like this. And, you have to be judicious, right? And the problem is it's the chain reaction. Michael King goes down. Don't know when he's coming back. We'll ask Shildt about it today. I can promise you he's so tired of being asked. I'm tired of hearing about it. Like, come back when you're ready to come back. At this point, who's going to come up and fill the void? You Darvish, that another one. I'm sure he's tired of being asked that question. But it's important. It's important because if those guys come back, Ben, you certainly feel a little bit better. But the chain reaction of Michael King going down is Kyle Hart having to come up. They did say, Kevin Acee said in his piece this morning, Matt Waldron may get one more rehab start and then he could join the team, which I think could help. You brought it up on the roundtable yesterday, and I do think it's important. Matt Waldron, right around this time last year, was the guy that carried this baseball team. And I know he only pitched every 5th day, but he absolutely was a catalyst in helping this team stay afloat, right the ship, whatever, get to the All-Star break, Ben. And then from there, the team started to roll when everybody got healthy. So yeah, there's going to be a little bit of a cavalry coming, and then there's a couple of unknowns in King and Darvish. But the chain reaction of that means that Kyle Hart's probably going to have to start more. Stephen Kolek's going to get regular starts. Randy Vasquez has been fine. He's been absolutely fine. He competes every time he goes out. So now your ace in the rotation is Dylan Cease, followed by Nick Pivetta, and so those guys, a lot of pressure on them the next 2 nights to go out and get these first 2 wins.
I think.
And save that bullpen a little bit, right? How judicious do you have to be with your, and I mentioned it yesterday. The Padres got, I don't want to say lucky, but the Padres found lanes for the back end of the bullpen very quickly this year. They knew exactly what they wanted to do, and they all did it. Estrada in the 7th, Adam in the 8th, Suarez in the 9th. A lot of times, as Ruben Niebla told me, personally, takes a while to find the lane. We got to find out kind of what works for them. And it could take 2 months sometimes to find who fits in where and who slots in perfectly. And he goes, they found it really, really early this year. So you'd get a lead after 6, hands up. I know exactly what I'm doing. It's Estrada, it's Adam, it's Suarez, game over, Padres win. Now those guys, you can't do that every single night in the next 27 days or whatever. You just can't. They can't withstand it.
You're kind of even just talking about 7, 8, 9. The aggressiveness we saw with the bullpen with Kyle Hart taking him out after 50 whatever pitches that you guys discussed yesterday was just really smart. They don't have the luxury to do that moving forward over the next few weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be
you got to just stick with your starter and make sure they get you 70, 80, 5, 6 innings.
Yeah, the worry and the word that keeps popping into my head is judicious. You have to just be cautious and careful. Again, I've said it a billion times on this show. Managing a bullpen has got to be the worst part of any manager's job. It's just got to be impossible. Impossible.
You may need to Brian Hoeing could be coming back.
That would be huge.
You may call up another one of your, you have a couple of electric relief arms.
Yes.
Bradley Rodriguez,
Net.
Braden Net. Now, will they be able to do it on the big league level? You don't know, but you didn't know with Sean Reynolds and others until they came up and actually did it. Would really be helpful if one or a couple of those guys came up and was effective immediately. That would alleviate some of my concern about the depth of the bullpen over this stretch.
But the other thing that will alleviate any and all concerns is if the stars play like stars. And Kevin Acee, and again, I always feel bad because I do feel like Xander does get singled out a lot, and I think it's for good reason. Sometimes I will say, as Shildt made it a point in his postgame the other night to give Xander Bogaerts a lot of extra love. He had played some really nice defense, was getting on base. Yes, I know he leads the league in infield hits, and that's not necessarily an honor that you want to have. But he's getting on base a little bit more than he was. But
and he's been active on the base paths.
He's been active on the base paths, stealing bags. Got, I think, 11 bags. But as Kevin Acee said this morning, the Padres offense has died at the feet of Xander Bogaerts far too often. His 220 batting average with runners in scoring position, a 681 OPS. Say there's one very specific stat that stands out how it illustrates the difference he is not making. He does not come through with Jackson Merrill and Manny Machado on base. So does that mean we need to switch up the lineup a little bit? Does that mean, how do you get the most out of him for what he's providing you now? You can't have Merrill and Manny continue to get stranded on base.
I mean, what would make the most sense? A guy who has stolen double-digit bases and gets on a lot of infield hits, but doesn't hit a lot of extra bases. I mean,
could you look at him at the top?
Could you look at him at the top of the order where he's on? He's not clogging up the base paths. He's a good base runner.
He's not chasing a lot,
but he's not driving in any runs.
Right.
And with Xander Bogaerts and Mike Shildt will praise him. Hasn't let his lack of offense really seem to, get to him mentally. He's playing solid defense out at short, making good plays. He makes smart decisions. If he was making $2.5 million, we wouldn't be talking much about Xander Bogaerts.
No,
We'd say, solid shortstop,
Our little Anthony Volpe out there.
No all-star, but, whatever. It's the fact that he is making as much money as he is making. You expect guys who are in that, $25 million to $30 million range
to be driving in runs,
driving
the baseball,
hit some home runs, a lot of extra base
doubles,
power, to be a real threat, a guy that opposing pitchers fear in the lineup. And right now, and there's no way that Mike Shildt can deny this, even though he would if we asked him. When an opposing pitcher sees the Padres lineup, they look at Xander Bogaerts as a soft spot, an escape hatch.
Yep.
Like this is a guy who's not really going to hurt me. Now I gotta be careful. He can get some singles, he can get some line drives, but I'm not going to lose the game to Xander Bogaerts. If I make a mistake to Xander Bogaerts, he's going to hit a line drive single up the middle. And, maybe there's a guy on and I give up a run. But I'm not losing the game to Xander Bogaerts right there. And when you're paying a guy that much money, you want him to be a guy who, when they make a mistake, that could be their ball game. 3-run homer, it's over. And you don't get the feeling right now that Xander is that dangerous at the plate for the Padres.
You know what? And Kevin makes the point here. He is that guy, Ben, in the lineup. You said it. You called it a soft spot. He said it's virtually impossible to effectively pass the baton when the guy batting 5th or 6th every game is dropping the baton. And that's a good point. We've seen that a ton. There was a game we lost last week. 2 outs. Manny hits a knock. Merrill hits a knock. And Xander comes up. Runners on 2nd, 3rd. 2 outs again, but man, there's not even a thought, Ben, of pitching around Xander Bogaerts with a base open. Not even a thought. They went right after him, grounded out, nothing going into the 2nd inning. We ended up losing that game later. I think he left 5 on base in the first 3 innings. He had opportunity to drive in runs and didn't do it. And again, very hard sport, very difficult job, but he does make that kind of money, and that's kind of what you expect from him. So he also, Kevin, makes sure to let everybody know, too, left field still a major issue. 193 batting average. Probably skewed, by the way, with Gavin Sheets being out there a few times, who's hitting really, really well. It's probably worse than that. Padres 534 OPS, the 2nd worst total in baseball behind tonight's opponent, the Pittsburgh Pirates. And Padres catchers has the major's 5th worst average, 216, and OPS 600. Black holes.
Trending in the wrong direction.
Certainly.
Early in the season, kept, Elias Diaz and even Martin Maldonado came up with a big hit or 2, a home run or 2, and it was, hitting 2 like 40, and we're like, okay, we'll take this. It's maybe 18th or 19th in baseball, but we'll take this. Since then, I don't think there's any doubt they've been dead last in baseball. Since pick the date where they just stopped hitting, but there's been almost nothing. Elias Diaz has had a couple of hits. Maldonado's had nothing at all offensively.
Sack bunt.
They continue to do a good job managing the pitching staff, I think, and defensively throwing out a runner or 2. You've seen that. They're not hurting you in that way.
Not much.
Which is, Mike Shildt will take that over the alternative, obviously, but they're getting nothing from catcher. They're getting nothing from left field, except when you put Gavin Sheets out there, and you shouldn't be putting Gavin Sheets out there.
Correct.
And you're really not getting much out of the shortstop.
Yep.
That's the bottom third of the order. I mean, I know Xander doesn't hit in the bottom third of the order, but essentially that's a third of the order where you're getting almost nothing offensively.
And it's hard. I don't really want to come in here and rip Elias Diaz. He's doing his job behind the dish. The pitchers really like throwing to him. Martin Maldonado should get one start a week on a Sunday, day game after a night game, things like that. Campusano is not going to be able to give you much help behind the dish. Hasn't really given you much help at the dish either, other than their record in which games he starts. He's undefeated.
No one pointed out the fact that they had won every game that he had started, and then they didn't start him on Wednesday.
They lost.
I mean, I can't. There's no reason.
No rhyme. No reason.
He's still 0 for the season, right? He hasn't gotten a single hit.
But again, I can't come in here and rip on Brandon Lockridge. I can't come in here really and rip on Jason Hayward. Those guys are bottom of the order guys. What is going to make this team go is 1 through 6. 1 through 6. Toddy, Arise, Manny, Merrill, Cronenworth, and Bogarts. If those 6 guys ball out, we win games.
You could put Bogarts at 7th, but I don't like the idea of 7, 8, 9 being an absolute complete black hole. I actually do like the idea of leading Xander off a little bit better. Give him a different focus, but then you're getting him up more often than anybody else.
It's tough. But nobody at the bottom gets on.
How about 9th?
9th? Yeah. He would die. I mean,
that would be insulting.
It'd be insulting.
I pulled up some of Xander Bogaerts splits. He's only got 47 at bats this season when he leads off the inning. Talking about leading him off.
Okay.
47 at bats, hitting 191 with a 567 OPS.
All right, never mind.
Off an inning.
All right, bang that one.
269 OBP when leading off.
But bang that, not your leadoff hitter.
And he hit leadoff for quite a bit last year, remember?
Yeah, it wasn't great.
That was the talking point.
And for everybody,
where do you hit him? Where do you hit him?
I don't know. 2? No, it's got to be lower in the order.
7.
He's probably where he should be. The problem is, again, comes up too many times with guys on base.
Yeah, because Manny and Merrill have done a good job of getting on base.
I guess it's 7. I don't know. I mean, do you want Elias Diaz or
no?
Brandon Lockridge coming up with runners on base, batting 6th or 7th?
No, it's tough.
You don't want that either. So that's your only really option of trade. If you push him down, you got to push someone else up.
Correct. So he's got to come up.
They don't have anybody else. You can push Jake up by 1,
sure,
which is fine, but that still is going to leave you then with a 3-spot order that is essentially not pretty. You need another player.
Yeah,
like we said in the roundtable, this would be a great time for AJ Preller to make a move. And he knows that. Pretty sure he's aware of that. It's not as easily accomplished. You have to find a partner who is willing to trade with you. You can try to overpay. I mean, do you really want to overpay for a mediocre left fielder? Josh Bell's name was brought up on.
He's not a left fielder.
Not.
No. Josh Bell, I loved Josh Bell, but Josh Bell did not play well here. And I don't think he's playing well now. No. So, no, I don't want him.
There's so many guys who would be upgrades over what you have.
Timu, Jason Hayward is Josh Bell, I think. Right? Well, thank you. I'd like somebody good. Is that too much to ask for? Somebody good, solid, throw them out there every day. Yeah, it's when you're getting to when you get to a stretch like this, that's when it gets like, all right, we need to figure this thing out. But again, the top of the order, 1 through 6 performs, who beats this team? Honestly, if they all perform up to their capabilities, it's one of the best 1 through 6 in baseball, in my opinion. So I'll take that up against anybody else. But again, they got to come through, and they need to. This is the pitching carried their asses so much the first third of the season. Time for the offense to carry the pitching a little bit. And I think about Mike Shildt all the time, Benny. How many blowouts have the Padres had in their favor this year? It hasn't been many.
Not that many.
How many times have you thrown your feet up and gone, I mean, I kind of did off Alcantara the other day, 6-1, and then we all know what happened. But how many times have you put your feet up and went, I don't even need to watch. It's 11-1 in the 4th. We're winning this game. We're winning it going away.
You had one of them against tonight's starting pitcher for the Pirates, Mitch Keller. You beat him 9-4, although they added 4 of those runs in the last couple of innings. So it wasn't
a little sweaty.
It wasn't a blowout, until the 7th or 8th inning. But that's the matchup tonight against Nick Pivetta. That was Dylan Cease at the time. It was the opener to that 3-game series, which the Padres did sweep. But the second game was a 2-1 game in the second game of that series, and the Padres had to had to sneak that one out and come up with runs in the 7th and the 9th to win that game. That was against Bailey Falter,
the Rockies game, the 21-0.
Who
that
will
was
pitch
fun.
in the second game of the series. He was really good. He allowed just 2 hits in 7 innings, 1 run against the Padres. He'll go in the second game of the series tomorrow against Dylan Cease. And then Sunday's finale is Andrew Heaney against Randy Vasquez. And did they face Heaney as well in that series?
They jacked him up, I think. Yeah.
Let's see. They got in the final game of the series, Padres won 4-0. They touched him up for 8 hits and 4 runs in 3 2/3 innings. So 2 guys that they handled pretty well. One guy that handled them pretty well, but
who handled them? Falter
pitched really well against the Padres. And just of note, Padres fans, because I did not realize this until I was looking up the series start times. Tonight's your normal 6:40 City Connect Friday. Tomorrow, those not 5:40. It's 6:40 again. Not because they had been starting a lot of their Friday games at 5:40, and then Sunday is 2:10.
6:40, 6:40, 2:10.
And I believe that's because of the Rock and Roll Marathon. Give them a little extra time to clear out the downtown area before bringing in all the Padres fans. So it's a little later start time on Sunday.
It's going to be a cluster down there.
2:10 p.m. So that's your update. We will come back. Hour number 2, including Don't Do This. Darren Smith going to join us as well. Stay tuned. Ben and Woods continue on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Got a text message yesterday from a friend. My buddy Craig was out on the town and ran into somebody that I love.
Me?
No.
Oh.
I do love you, but it wouldn't be news if he ran into you.
Okay.
Ran into one Paul Skeens yesterday, having a delicious Wagyu burger at Sea Prime. Is that the name? Sea Level? Sea Level.
Sea Level.
Yeah.
Next to Island Prime.
Yeah. Crushing a
very touristy spot.
Very
for an
much.
Out-of-towner right
Yeah,
there
but
on
I mean,
Harbor Island.
He's a tourist, is he not?
He is.
Yeah.
Well, he's here.
And I saw his girlfriend, Livy Dunn.
Livy Dunn,
Out
gymnast.
Yes, out at Petco Park, and she tweeted a selfie and said, "I love it here." Get on the horn, AJ. Maybe we interest you in a Xander veteran leadership, potentially, for the Pittsburgh Pirates right now.
I can't quite see the Pirates taking on Sanders' salary to give up.
Are you sure?
Paul Skeens, but
If
I
I
like
throw in a,
what you're thinking.
and I throw in a Kavaris Tears or Tears,
Tears,
I
believe so.
potentially a Brandon Valenzuela as well.
Why
What's
was
your
Livy
level-
Dunn inside
What's
Petco
your level
Park
of
on an off day?
What's your level of interest? My friend Craig goes, I literally was beyond starstruck. He's a moose. He's the size of a moose, Paul Skeens is. And he goes, so I gave him like the nod, and he gave me the nod back. He goes, I wanted to get a picture, but there was no way I was going to go get a picture. And honestly, I was like, bro, if I had just gotten off the air and you had said, hey, bro, I probably would have gone down there just to see him in person to get a picture of him. He's a beast.
I walked by Kyle Shanahan the other day.
Did you?
In Del Mar.
Doing what?
He was at I think he was at a beach house right on the beach. I think he had rented it with his family.
Little
kids.
vacay.
And I walked by with my kids. I go, hey, head
That's
coach of the
nice.
49ers. I didn't stop by and say anything.
No big deal.
Yesterday was Paul Skeens' 23rd birthday.
Yeah.
So now they must be.
Is it weird that his girlfriend wasn't at his birthday lunch?
She was at
there. Petco Park.
She was at Petco Park by herself.
Yeah, it looked like it. How did she get in?
I still wonder. Now, did the Pirates go work out or something on the day off, and she was just with the team? But if Paul Skeens wasn't
she travel
there,
with the team on all their road trips?
I don't know.
This is one I'm sure.
Well, what I was going to say is that it's a nice life. If you're a Major League Baseball pitcher and you just pitched on Wednesday, you're not even pitching in this series in San Diego.
Yeah. You're on your own.
And there's an off day. So you've got an off day and then 3 days that are really off days for you as well. I mean, you got to be at the game, but you're doing nothing other than maybe, charting pitches for someone.
Do you even have to chart pitches
You are
anymore?
Essentially a tourist in San Diego for 4 days.
You're on vacation.
It's the perfect road trip. If you are a visiting pitcher who is not pitching and there's an off day and it's your birthday, they probably looked at that schedule and went, oh, this is working out perfectly. We're going to have a great time this weekend in San Diego. You don't worry. Enjoy a burger. You don't have to worry about overeating or anything because you're not pitching for days.
I'm going to have a great time with my boys at lunch. You do whatever it is that you have to do. Go tour the park. Do whatever you want to do. I'll see you later when I get back. He just said, he goes, man, he's a unit of a man. A unit. He is a big boy. Big boy. So, yep, he's in town. Livy Dunn's in town. It's the stars are out in San Diego. Place to be this weekend.
Livy Dunn's out and about. Give us a call, 833-288-0973. We'd love to hear from you this morning.
If you're listening, Livy, we would love to have you on.
I was out and about a little bit yesterday as well. I went down to San Diego State University.
Ooh, big news.
A couple of stories, actually. I was following up on the Miles Byrd announcement returning. I did a story. I talked to Mark Ziegler of the UT, went down to Viejas Arena, and also down there, the buzz about a coaching change on the Mesa as well. Sean Cole, who had spent the last 2 seasons as the head baseball coach at Tony Gwynn Stadium there, they parted ways with Sean Cole and J.D. Wicker announcing they're beginning a national search for a new head baseball coach. Of course, Cole was the pitching coach. He replaced Mark Martinez when he retired. Last 2 seasons have not been good ones. 2 of the 3 worst records in program history the last 2 years for San Diego State. So they're going to go in a different direction. And I'd imagine...
Is it me?
It's a pretty wide-ranging search. Well, you are an adult baseball league coach.
And I did little league coach.
I did see a number of people suggest that the next head coach at San Diego State could come from the staff here at 97.3 The Fan.
Matt Scraby and his forward-thinking ideas.
Sam Levitt.
Sam Levitt would be an incredible manager.
He'd be put together for sure. I think they were considering Tony Gwynn Jr. as probably the guy that, could come in, take the job that his dad once held. And
who doesn't need a third gig?
Bring San Diego State baseball back to glory. Now, other names that were thrown out there included our friend, USD head coach Brock Ungrich, who was an Aztec, I believe, as well at one point. Rich Hill, who was the former USD coach, now the Hawaii head coach.
I'm not leaving Hawaii.
And then I threw out the name Bud Black, who, of course, is a longtime Aztec, San Diegan Aztec for life, and is currently, out of work after being let go by the Colorado Rockies. That would be an interesting way to go. I said some people who were with the Aztecs goes, is he up for the recruiting and the NIL and the transfer portal era?
It's tough.
Anybody can be. Now, you're not doing the job by yourself. Obviously, you'd have to hire someone else who's versed in some of the ways of college baseball and NCAA athletics and scholarships. You couldn't do it all by yourself. But are you telling me Bud Black wouldn't be an incredible mentor and teacher for college age and be someone who would certainly get their foot in the front door of high school recruits who are interested in coming to San Diego State?
Well, Buddy
got
should
a lot of credibility if he did.
Buddy should be around the program anyway, somehow, some way. If he's back here living in Solana Beach, he should be around the program.
And if you're going for big Aztecs names, Jesse mentioned Steven Strasburg, retired, and of course
here as well.
Huge name that would at least. That's part of it. Recruiting is, it's, hey, a big name, trot in the head coach who had a great career, a World Series ring, whatever. And that certainly can be an advantage in a college baseball program.
It does continue to, it continues to surprise me. I mean, you see who's, winning in college baseball right now, man. And it's all in the South pretty much. It's the South is really dominating college baseball. The SEC is monstrous. Now they have a lot of resources, and resources help you get players. Now this place is amazing. I can't imagine for 1 second not wanting to come play baseball in San Diego. But you're going to need to recruit really well, and you need to recruit those kids away from, the Vanderbilts, the Texas, the TCUs, all these good programs that are currently just dominating down south. I think TCU actually just got hosed for the College World Series, but it's they're crushing right now.
Yeah, Sean Cole may have gotten the short end of the stick because in the past, before the NIL era, San Diego State, great facilities, Tony Gwynn Stadium, great weather, great pedigree. It was just as attractive of an option for college baseball players as just about anywhere. But now with the, amount of money that the SEC can pour into all of their sports programs and what they can promise, even baseball players in NIL, San Diego State can't compete with that. I mean, they're devoting as much NIL as they can to basketball and football. And I don't think there's much left over for anybody else.
Yeah.
So you're just hoping you can get guys who are willing to probably come in for like nothing and just go, hey, it's San Diego. It's a great program. It's a great legacy. You're playing in a great part of the country and you'll have scouts out watching you. But I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think they're promising much, if any sort of money to their baseball players in that program. But they are at Vanderbilt. They are at other SEC schools. Baseball players are getting good NIL promises in the Big Ten and in the SEC.
Sure.
And it's just not happening here on the West Coast right now.
Has anyone mentioned the name Steven Strasburg?
Yeah, we did talk about it a little bit.
Yeah,
I was editing, so I didn't hear.
I have no idea if he's even interested in coaching. I have no idea if Buddy would want to manage anymore. Maybe he's ready to do something else with his life.
Yeah.
But they have a lot of great Aztecs, obviously, who have come through that program, who have big names. I'm sure J.D. Wicker will consider a lot of them, but maybe he wants to go the direction of a proven college baseball coach who's actually, done it on that level and had some success, and it would be willing to try to build something at San Diego State.
Well, if not, he's got my number.
You wouldn't be the worst choice.
No, I'd be the worst choice of all time.
Why would you say that?
Because I don't know what
baseball.
I'm doing. I know, but I don't know I don't know how to manage.
Your passion,
college
passion's
kids.
important.
I have a lot of passion for baseball. A lot. Think about it all the time. That's all I think about. I told you, if I could make what I make now just coaching Little League, I would leave today. I would turn in my 2 weeks notice and walk out the door.
Brandon thinks if Tony Gwynn Jr. got the gig, that Adam would have to look for a new afternoon drive host.
He would.
You wouldn't let him just take the equipment to the Tony Gwynn Stadium, pregame, and just, pop in for a few segments with Chris? That would be very interesting. Like,
you need to have your eye on the prize. How did it go for Doug Gottlieb?
He's still the coach at Green Bay.
How did it go?
Green Bay. He had a bad season.
We went 3 games or something.
It takes a while to turn around a program. I mean, it's Wisconsin, Green Bay. It's not like he's at Duke.
Well, I know, but still, like that's a lot on somebody's plate. I mean, I couldn't imagine running. You're running a baseball program. You're running it from top to bottom, and then you're like, I gotta go do my radio show and talk about Xander Bogaerts' spot in the lineup.
The precedent has been set by Doug Gottlieb.
It has.
It is possible to be both a head coach of a college program and a radio host at the same time.
Yeah.
Adam could make it work.
Possible doesn't mean good.
Good.
You can drive a car with your feet. That don't make it a good idea.
I'm going to try that on one of those long desert stretches today, Adam. I'm going to try to drive with my feet. See how that goes. So good.
I don't know that Tony Gwynn would want to leave his great job sitting next to Jesse Agler.
No doubt.
Padres games. Now
that's a gig.
That would be impossible to do both.
Yeah,
Because
you could
Padres
not.
games and Aztecs games tend to be at the same time. Now, college baseball season starts earlier, but you get
There's
to
no way.
the playoffs and the tournament and stuff. That's all April and May and right during the early part of the season. So I don't think you'd be able to make both of those work at the same time.
No doubt. No, I love coaching so much. It's my favorite thing. But the thought of coaching anything serious would make me I'm already a wreck about next year kid pitch. I'm a wreck. I've got texts out to people. How do you run your practices? What's the best way? How do you get these kids to not be scared of the ball? Is really the biggest challenge. So I can't imagine having to go in and tell, all right, all you young studs, let's get it together. There's no way. It would be so fun to try for even an afternoon. But I think about the work that Brock Ungrich puts in. I think about the work. Then we used to interview Rich Hill all the time. The work that those guys do. College baseball is a different animal, man. It is just a different animal. But yeah, I hope they find a really, really good one. I hope that program gets back to where it needs to be and competing for a national title.
All right, we will take a quick timeout. Don't Do This is coming up next. You hate to be the guy in the office that sends out the wrong email.
Oh, yeah.
By mistake.
Yeah, it's bad.
And it happened to a major professional sports franchise this week. We'll get to that and more coming up with Ben and Woods right here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Before you head into the weekend, though, download the PrizePicks app and start running your game with daily fantasy accessible to all. Over 10 million members and millions of dollars of awarded winnings. All across the country, people are playing daily fantasy. It's just a thing now. And PrizePicks, I think, is the best place to play. I've been playing for about a year and really enjoy it. I don't do it every single day. I do like 2 or 3 a week. Some people set, 3 or 4 lineups every single day. You can do it however you like to do it, whatever sports you're watching, follow along, and just pick more or less on between 2 and 6 player stat projections for your shot to win up to 2,000 times your money. Of course, we are approaching the championship series of the basketball season. You can watch your favorites, hoops, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the MVP of the league. Look for options like more or less than 27.5 points. It's that easy just to put them into your lineup every single day. You can cross sports. You can put SGA and FTJ, Fernando Tatis Jr., in the same lineup if you're watching both of those games at the same night and winning money. But you do have to use our code when you download the app because you're going to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That code is KWFN. KWFN to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup at PrizePicks. Do it today. PrizePicks, run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for more details.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Don't forget, we got Darren Smith coming up at the bottom of the hour to talk a little SDFC and more. And, of course, Mike Shildt, our manager's report at 9 o'clock this morning. First, though, it is time for Don't Do This. It is brought to you by Trust and Will.
Don't.
Leave your entire estate, house, kids, and life savings up to chance if and when you die.
Dude.
Set up a Trust or Will online at trustandwill.com.
This
is a lot more affordable than you think. Visit trustandwill.com for more info. This was all Adam's idea for us to do the interplay of the Don't Do This. Do you feel like it's been everything you hoped it would be, Adam?
And more.
Okay, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. We'll start with the Washington Capitals, who are denying reports that Alex Ovechkin, their star who just broke Wayne Gretzky's all-time goal-scoring record, will retire at the end of next season. I mean, it wouldn't be a shocker. Alex Ovechkin is like 62 years old at this point, I think. He's 39. But where did the reports originate from is the Don't Do This part of the story. It came out of their own corporate offices.
Oh, no.
One of their corporate sales reps sent out an email to, hey, drum up, hey, get your season tickets, get your luxury boxes. Come join us for Alex Ovechkin's final NHL season, all in caps. And then realized, oh, maybe I was not supposed to say that, or is it true? Is it not true? What is it? Was it one of those, hey, maybe it's his last season and we'll take advantage of it if it is, but he hasn't made any decisions? Well, Alex Ovechkin certainly has not announced any plans to retire at the end of next season yet, and he's certainly, given his status in the NHL as a three-time Hart Trophy winner, as the MVP, the all-time leading goal scorer, he gets to, set his own timetable.
On his own terms.
He doesn't get pushed out by a corporate guy who's going, yeah, can join us for Alex Ovechkin's final season. But after that, he's done. You'll never see him again.
Just some kid trying to get ahead, make some sales, asking for the order.
Yeah.
Drum up a little interest.
He's played 20 seasons in the NHL, all with the Washington Capitals.
Crazy.
He's in the final year of his 5-year, $47.5 million contract extension, though.
So the kid was just being a little bit presumptuous.
That's what they're at least saying. Now,
has he commented yet?
No.
Ovechkin.
Would it? I mean, other than to tell the team that he has made no decisions, or would it shock me if in a week we hear a press conference from the Capitals saying, as it turns out, this will be Alex Ovechkin's final season. They'll do the farewell tour, get his rocking chairs from opposing teams on the ice and everything that they get, and have make it a real nice celebration, a year-long celebration for Alex Ovechkin. Would it stun me if that was the case? No. Is the guy in corporate sales the one who's supposed to let everybody know about that in an email? Definitely not. Don't do that.
Man, this is getting out of hand in Major League Baseball, and I think across all sports. And I know, gambling is going to take the brunt of this, and it very well may be the cause, but Lance McCullers Jr., Ben, has now had to hire private security to protect his family because of online death threats that he's been getting. His 5-year-old daughter, Ava, overheard his wife, Kara, talking on the phone about it, came up to him and said, Daddy, what are threats? Who wants to hurt us and why? He goes, those conversations are really, really tough to deal with. You may remember Liam Hendricks, Boston Red Sox reliever, had been getting some very vile messages, wrote a really strong statement, put it on his social media. Christian Yelich came out and said, I think over the last few years, it's definitely increased. It's increased to the point that you're like, all right, here we go. Doesn't even really register on your radar anymore. I don't know if that's good or a bad thing. You just kind of get used to it on a day-to-day basis. It's everybody in here, and it's based on performance. Justin Wilson, Red Sox reliever, said, you get a lot of DMs from people saying you ruined my bet or something ridiculous like that. He goes, I guess they should make better bets. So, yeah, they're getting a lot of DMs, people being nasty and vile and again, threatening people's lives over your, probably $4 parlay that you made. It gets insane. Detroit Tigers all-star outfielder Riley Green said he got off social media entirely because he was getting so many messages. He goes, I deleted it. He said of Instagram, I'm off. It sucks. That's the world we live in. Can't do anything about it. People would DM me and say nasty things, tell me how bad of a player I am, and say nasty stuff that, nobody wants to read. So people are very brazen on the internet. I get it all the time. They're very, very tough. And I've gotten them myself. I've gotten hate mail sent to my home. It's that thing you look at and you go, I mean, I'm not overly concerned. Also, I can't afford a private security detail like Lance McCullers can, but this is to the point where, it's just getting a little bit ridiculous online.
Well, when it comes to being mad that someone cost you your bet.
Yeah.
That is insane because
it's also insane to criticize somebody's player and play in the DM.
Every bet has another side to the bet. There are also people who are betting against Lance McCullers, the Astros, in that game. And so someone's going to be mad every single game because half the people win and half the people lose when it comes to those sports wagers. So, you take that to the logical conclusion. And if everybody who lost their bets is going to get mad, then every athlete every day is going to be the target of
somebody.
Someone.
Yeah, exactly.
You pitched so well. You cost me my bet. You can't threaten everybody. That's how gambling works.
Yep.
All right. Finally, a little do this.
DD mega doo-doo.
Talked earlier this week that they were conducting the Scripps National Spelling Bee Finals in Maryland, near our nation's capital this week. And the champion was crowned yesterday, but had to overcome a little adversity to get there. Faizan Zaki he's a favorite going in, actually, because last year, as a 12-year-old, he was the runner-up. And he actually never missed a word over the entire competition, but it got to the point where he and the other finalists were just going back and forth. So they went to what was called a lightning round tiebreaker. He had not practiced for that, and he lost the lightning round tiebreaker. Apparently, he didn't go fast enough, or I don't know how it works. So this guy came back, though. 13-year-old, had one more chance at it from Allen, Texas, and got to the final three. And the other two, I believe, had missed their word. So he needed to get the word right. And he got cocky because the word was camelina. But instead of doing the, whole word country of origin, use it in a sentence to, just make sure you've got it right, he just started blurting out K-A-M. And he goes, wait, no, okay, let me do this. Oh, shoot, just ring the bell. Because he realized it's C-O-M-M-E-L-I-N-A. But you can't go back. You can't change. Once you said a letter wrong, it's over. And he goes, and he knew it. He knew the word. He just blurted it out too fast. So he blew it. But he got another chance. They came back around to him, and he had the chance to spell éclaircissement. Éclaircissement.
Éclaircissement.
Éclaircissement.
Sismon?
Sismont. Kind of. It's
Say
from
it like
the French.
a normal human.
Éclaircissement. Éclaircissement.
What does that word mean?
Éclaircissement is from the French. It is an explanation of something, typically someone's conduct that has been hitherto inexplicable. So you finally learn why this guy's been acting so strange. That's your éclaircissement.
E-C-L-A-I-R-C-I-S-S-M-A-N.
Oh, you were on track. You were, but it's French, so it's the
M-O.
M-E-N-T at the end. E-C-L-A-I-R Eclaircissement.
Eclaircissement.
Not bad though. For
Congratulations to that young man.
So he won. He won the top prize, which was like $52,000, and he won like $25,000 last year for finishing second. So his career earnings now around $77,000. You know what he bought with his earnings last year?
A Porsche.
No.
No.
He bought a $1,500 Rubik's Cube that has 21 squares on each side. Not the normal 3. That's for dunces like the rest of us.
Holy cow.
9 is the second biggest size because it's got to go in, but he had one that is 20 or 27 or something on each side. Crazy, giant $1,500 Rubik's Cube.
You know who the Rubik's Cube master of the San Diego Padres is?
No.
Saw this on Instagram recently.
What?
Yeah.
I'm dying to find out. Can I guess?
Sure. The master.
Rubik's Cube
In
master.
fact, so good that when we see him next, I'm going to bring one and see if he can do it.
I'm dying to know this. Okay. I'm going to say Rubik's Cube master.
Yep. Like a wizard at it.
I'm going to go with. This is tough.
Martin Maldonado.
No.
No. I'm going to say Jake Cronenworth?
Nope. Michael King.
Michael King.
Makes a lot of sense. His wife posted a really nice birthday, slide presentation on Instagram for his birthday, and there's video of him sitting at lunch, just wearing out a Rubik's Cube, just absolutely crushing it.
He should get one of those $1,500 ones.
Apparently, he's really, really good.
A lot of people guess Dylan Cease, which would have made some sense.
Yep.
Dylan Cease has, got some eclectic interests as well.
Yeah, Michael King, the Rubik's Cube master, something I never realized until I stalked his wife's Instagram
Have you seen the
page.
guys who can do it like without even looking?
Yeah, of course.
It's 5 seconds.
I was able to do it when I was like 10, but I took all the stickers off and put them in the right. Yeah, because I couldn't. I tried so hard to get it, and I couldn't stand it. That I could not figure it out. Did you ever solve one?
I don't think I ever figured out how to do it. Yeah,
that surprises me.
There's like a mathematical way that you can get it done.
It would make me. I actually took a flathead screwdriver too and would pop them off to try to put them back on because it made me so insane that I couldn't do it. And it says it's weirder that Woods is stalking King's wife's Insta. Actually, so we have talked to her before about their foundation, which is why I follow her on Insta. I wasn't stalking it. It came up in pictures. And I scrolled, it's Michael King's birthday. Oh, this is nice. So we've talked to Sheila many times about the foundation that they have for
it's the King of the Hill Foundation.
Yeah.
And her maiden name was Hill, right?
That's right.
That's why they put it together, King of the Hill.
King of the Hill. Very, very good. So, yeah, I follow most of our players, but I don't follow many of their wives. But Sheila is one that I do.
Yeah. Yane.
And Yane.
Yeah. We know her too.
Yeah, we know her too.
And that is Don't and Do This for a Friday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, SDFC back in action after a midweek loss in Seattle, hosting Austin tomorrow night. We'll talk with SDFC broadcaster Darren Smith coming up next here on 97.3 The Fan. That's you.
For what?
Loan Pronto.
Oh, perfect timing, guys. If you're maxed out on credit cards or are struggling with high interest debt, pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. You can get cash out now without touching your low rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan Program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One of their clients got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours, paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. Pretty big turnaround for them. Instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Your home's equity is yours. Use it to get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now. Get a free instant appraisal for your home. See how much cash you can get out today. Loan Pronto, A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and have nearly 2,500 five-star Google reviews. Service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation, 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com, 619-207-4336. Get debt relief now, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Things didn't go the way SDFC was hoping on their trip up to Seattle midweek. We will chat with Darren Smith about the game, the 1-0 loss, and look ahead to tomorrow night's matchup at Snapdragon Stadium against Austin FC. And we'll get to that right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Islands Restaurants. Well, guys, nice while it lasted, but now we got a crash in middle lanes, southbound 15, just past the Rancho Parkway. Looks like several vehicles involved in that. Also, if you're traveling east on the 8, just before Magnolia, we have reports of a stalled car in the center divide. Big on protein, rich on flavor. The new $10 Islands Restaurants protein bowls are here for a limited time, packed with over 40 grams of protein, stacked with fresh ingredients for the flavors you love, just in a bowl. Find your protein paradise at islandsrestaurants.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And there he is. I can see him on our YouTube stream in his City Connect colors on a Friday. Very appropriate for Darren Smith. Darren, good morning. Thank you for joining us. And I cannot hear Darren, Adam. We've got Adam Klug here, so got to get through the technical challenges of making sure all of our audio and video sources are coinciding together. Heavy sigh. Adam's heavy sigh. Darren, you look good. I will say
Darren,
that.
you look great.
It sounds like he can hear us.
Yep.
But we can't hear him. So just keep
sign
smiling
language.
and
I'll
ASL.
write out a
Sign
couple
Language.
questions. I'll hold them up, and then I'll read his responses. This is fantastic.
There we go.
Or we could just we got a yellow pad. We got some notes here for the game.
Yeah, I got Brandon Vasquez.
Just okay.
I'm gonna take off, guys.
Let's
I love
do yes
you.
or no. You can
have a
nod
good rest
yes
of the
or
show.
no. Was that a disappointing loss for SDFC on Wednesday? Even though it was a road game and they dominated the run of play, but they didn't get the 3 points. They didn't even get 1 point. I got a so-so. I got a maybe a kind of a disappointing loss for SDFC on the road against the Seattle Sounders.
People are saying they can hear him.
All right, he's going to find his phone, I think, as Adam is calling him to make sure.
Incredible.
This is more of an audio format than a visual format. You all know
There
what
he
Darren
is.
looks like.
Hi.
Now we get him on the radio. Good morning, Darren.
Good morning. Good morning.
Oh,
Good morning.
crushed it.
Yeah, I know. Plus, I know what it's like. Listen, I love Adam, but I can remember the days where you lose that one linchpin piece of the show. It's like,
Yeah.
everything's kind of falling apart.
Yeah,
So,
which is why I listen when Paulie comes in for renegotiation next year. I'm just going to play them this audio.
The arbitration hearing.
Yeah, the
This
arbitration
is
hearing.
One of
This is
his
it.
agent presents the case. Hey, when he wasn't here, we had a lot of audio and technical difficulties that don't happen when he's around.
Pay that man his money.
It's funny too. Like when we wouldn't have Jordan, let's say, on the show.
Yeah.
Like, all of a sudden it takes like 2-3 people to figure out how to do what Jordan does. And I always used to say the same thing. Yeah, I'd be like, hey, and like I'm useless. Like I can't do anything. I can't help Adam at all. I'm like, bro, I have no idea what you're talking about. I have 4 Zoom windows open. I have StreamYard open. I have a microphone. I have headphones. Like none of it's happening. So I'm worthless in this conversation too.
As am I. We're the artists. We're the artists.
Yeah. Point me to the microphone. That's what I do.
That's it. That's what I do.
I'm not an engineer. What do I know about this stuff?
We can do the sound check. Yeah.
That's
Test
it.
1, 2, 3.
That's right.
Check 1, 2. Everything sound good? All right. Good. We're good to go. All right. So you kind of gave him a maybe on, was it a disappointing performance? I mean, they definitely, controlled the ball like they usually do, had more shots than the Seattle Sounders, but they gave up the 1 goal and could not find a way to get the ball into the net, Darren.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of the way the sport is sometimes, right? Like all these sports have these picadillos to them where it's like, you can dominate statistically, but at the end of the match, you're sitting there on the post-game show going, man, like killed him, had more shots than him in possession and, better opportunities and lost 1-0. So, it's kind of the frustration of the sport sometimes, and that it's what makes it great and it's what makes it really, really difficult, makes it crap sometimes, is that you can really control the pace of a match, but all that matters is that Jesus Ferreira scored and nobody from SDFC did, and you pick up 0 points. Now, did they play well? If I'm Mikey Varas, do I feel pretty good about how I watched my team play? Yeah, I feel pretty good about that. They had to rotate players out because it was midweek, and the players that they rotated in, I thought, performed pretty well. So, I think it's a difficult thing to ask a team to play 3 times in 8 days and to play away at Seattle, where Seattle never loses, and it's a good team and they got an aura to them. I don't think it's a bad loss. They've had a couple of bad losses. This isn't one of them. So I think you can live with it, and you just get ready to take care of business and May on a high note coming up on Saturday.
And they're favored to win against Austin, but again, that means nothing. We know how that goes on paper, Darren. And we always kind of go back to the sport we know is in baseball. I'm telling you, man, if I watch a game where we load the bases 6 straight innings and don't score, yes, I think Mike Shilt's comments will be, hey, at least we loaded the bases 6 times, and I think, Mikey Varas kind of put in that situation a little bit as well. Yeah, we played our tails off. The strategy, again, of resting some of the A players early, bringing them in later, do you think that doesn't backfire on him necessarily, or did it perhaps?
I don't think so. I don't think that there was, a massive drop off. I mean, there's the biggest drop off was in the position that Chucky normally occupies, which is the left wing. And, they moved the player from the right wing to the left wing. And that was the biggest drop off, I think, that I saw. So, and even from that standpoint, Alex Mighton's his name, the guy who moves from right to left, he had a couple of opportunities. He's probably not, he could use a little bit more refinement. He could be a little bit more clinical in how he, his shooting. But, I really didn't think it was a significant drop off. Anders Dreyer's still out there. Yeppe Terskov's still out there. So, I don't know. And they got Chucky in there to start the second half. So he played a full 45. It's not like he just came in for 10 minutes late, so yeah, I really didn't think it was, too much of a drop off here to the point where, the manager could be questioned for his decision making. I think everybody understands playing midweek, playing on the road, playing at Seattle, playing on the turf. All those things kind of factored in. You had a pretty physical game against Galaxy as well on Saturday. And, you definitely, you gotta take care of your business here 3 times in 8 days. So I didn't really see anything that, even in a private conversation, I would say to Mikey, like, hey, like, what was that? It just is kind of the way it is. They know how their players recover, right? Like you guys, I'm sure, are talking about the Padres bullpen. And, I know we all have opinions about the way things went 2 days ago, but, ultimately they know how their players are recovering. They do a ton of stuff behind the scenes. And I think you just sort of have to defer to them that they're using their best judgment for when their players are or aren't, available or operating at peak performance.
Talking to SDFC broadcaster Darren Smith, and news of a contract extension for goalkeeper CJ Dos Santos. Goalkeeping is, I'd imagine, a very, very tough job, because there's the ones that you absolutely have to stop. There's the ones you have no chance to stop.
Yeah.
And then it's all, your entire career is based on the margins. There may be 1 or 2 chances a week that, could go either way. You either make the great save or it, ticks off your hand and goes into the goal. And that's the entire basis of whether you're a top goalkeeper in the sport or you're probably out of the game pretty quickly.
Yeah, and the guy in Seattle is a great example of that. His name is Stephen Fry. He's been playing in this league forever. He's got the 4th most minutes in the history of the sport, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. He's approaching 1,000 career saves, so this guy's won everything.
Wow.
I was really happy for CJ. We talked about him last week or the week before that. He's just a great, great human being. Like, I really enjoy speaking with him. And, I'm glad that he got this opportunity and that the club recognized, just what he's meant, and you're right about that. He talked, after we chatted, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, because, I remember when you said, hey, before the season, we really weren't so sure about him. And I actually interviewed him, I think, later that day. And I talked to him a little bit about that. And he said, when I was younger, like, it was all mental for me. Like, I took every goal allowed. I couldn't sleep at night. I kept thinking about what it was I was going to do. And he said, really, why his game has risen to the level where it is now, where he's not only a starting goalkeeper in Major League Soccer, and he just got this extension, and who knows for a 24-year-old what else might be coming down the road. He said for him, it was all mental. He just said everything for him when he was kid, like he would just not be able to put it off to the side, and it just, it ate him up. So, it's interesting that he really had to learn how to compartmentalize and just manage himself, and he feels like that was the biggest difference for him. Obviously, the club sees it too. So, he's playing great. He's a really interesting guy. I know I've said this before. San Diego FC is like a club that wants the ball in possession, so that means sometimes that goalkeeper doesn't see a lot of action. So you got to really stay on your toes. Like there's like 10, 12 minutes where the ball might be somewhere else. And he walked me through that about, how he just looks at it like in 5-minute blocks and then 10-minute blocks and all this sort of stuff. So really, I'm really, really happy for him. A bunch of good dudes there, but I was really happy to see that extension for him. And you're right. Sometimes it's one shot on target, and that's the difference in the game. And, that's a lot to deal with when you're a goalkeeper.
Manny in the chat, Darren, talking to Darren Smith here on Ben & Woods this morning. Manny L in the chat says, how much are national team call-ups going to affect SDFC?
Well, I'm curious about that. Like, how many games do they miss when they get called up? Because Luca De La Torre is going to the U.S. team. Dreyer's going to the Danish team. Chucky is going to the Mexican national team. What are they losing here?
And Paddy McNair goes to Northern Ireland. So that's 4. Actually, I think this is this actually works out pretty well scheduling wise. So, we got 4 players who are getting called up. I'm pretty sure they're all going to be available to play tomorrow. So that's good news. I don't think anybody has to report until Sunday or, maybe even Monday. But, looking at the schedule, there's no league matches again. This is a little bit of a fortunate scheduling break that SDFC doesn't have a match from Saturday until June 14th at Minnesota. So I think the guys that are getting called up can go and play for their national teams and get back before the next league game. Now there is that exhibition, the friendly game against Club America at Snapdragon Stadium, and those guys won't be available there. And I don't really know where they're going to find a roster for that game, to be honest, because it's not like we have an academy. Sometimes in those situations, you're like, well, you play your academy players, and it's like, yeah, that'd be great if we had an academy, but we don't. So, I'm not sure exactly what that's going to look like at Snapdragon Stadium, but it's an exhibition game, and I know you want to put on a good show, and it's a tremendous opportunity, and people are paying good money for tickets. But as far as league matches go, I think we're actually catching a little bit of a break in that, all 4 players, I think that they're 2 matches each, and it's interesting because Dreyer and Paddy McNair are going to play each other. Denmark's actually playing Northern Ireland, so one we can pay attention to there and have some laughs with, but. I think we actually catch a break that the 4 guys aren't going to miss any actual league matches. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to come back and start playing 90 minutes right away with all the travel. But, in terms of, last time we played Austin, we were without Anibal Godoy and without Patty McNair. Two pretty significant players ended up losing the game at Austin. So it'll be different now to have a fuller squad for tomorrow's match. But in terms of the window itself, this window in particular, I don't think we miss all that much.
Talking to D. Smith, Darren Smith here on Ben and Woods this morning. Just a couple minutes left, about 3 minutes left. Darren, pretty gnarly stretch coming up for the Pods. This is kind of, for us, it's great because we always have something to talk about and something to watch for the next 3 or 4 weeks. But the gauntlet has arrived, the first gauntlet of the season.
I love it. I'm with you. I look at the schedule for both, not to draw everything back to SDFC, but coming out of the break, Minnesota, Vancouver, you're like, oh, okay, cool. These are big games. They're going to feel like big games. And, I think that's one of the things about baseball or basketball. Sometimes the seasons are so long, it's like, I don't know, is this a big game? But, you can see what it is that's coming around the corner, right?
Yep.
So, I always think that that's exciting. It brings a little extra juice into the building. I think it probably, if you hook these players up, I know they always sort of say, oh, yeah, never high, never low. Same game, same thing, treat every game like it's just every other game. It's not the case. It's just not. We've all done this long enough to know you wake up on those days and it's what you think about the second that you wake up in the morning.
Yep.
So, I like it when you can add a little bit of juice and you can juice up a regular season series or a regular season stretch, like
and fun.
That brings things into focus.
Like,
it just makes it fun.
Fun to watch the navigation, of Mike Shildt, Ruben Niebla, AJ Preller, even for that matter. Like, fun to watch how they're going to navigate this. Yeah, fun if it works and you win more than you lose in this stretch. But I do enjoy that. Like, there's going to be a lot of online arguments about why did you go to Sean Reynolds there? You could have gone to so and so, and it's like. This is where it gets really serious, and they have to knuckle down, man, in these stretches like this. The players, the coaches, everybody, the fans even.
Yeah. Well, good luck. We don't exactly. We kind of do, but we kind of don't. But, and also we also know, too, whatever the results are, it'll be overinflated, good or bad.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
That's not a bad thing either. I don't mind living like that. I think that's what makes it, it feel like it's special. It makes it feel like it matters. You know what I mean? Like, that's the best part of it. When you can make these things feel like they matter, even grand scheme of things, if you can rationalize that they don't, but nobody wants to hear that guy be like, well, I don't know, just another game, whatever. Move on.
I know.
I could be that guy sometimes, and I have been that guy sometimes, but, frankly, like most people want that guy just to shut up. So, I'd rather people just be like, yeah, like, let's rock, let's go.
Darren, out of time, but good luck tomorrow at SDFC, Austin FC at 7:30 at Snapdragon Stadium. Hopefully they can get back into the win column, and we'll talk to you again next Friday.
Thank you, brother.
Fellas, it is always a pleasure. Good luck, and say hello to Mike Shildt.
We sure will.
I love having Darren on weekly.
So great.
Just adds a lot to the program.
A lot of juice.
It's always so very insightful and thoughtful. It's what made him such a good radio broadcaster.
No doubt.
All over the years. So definitely have enjoyed that segment. We still have a couple hours to go, including our manager's report with Mike Shildt. That's just over an hour away. First, though, we got Take on Woods, more baseball news, including a Dodgers trade. Stay tuned. Ben Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Halfway home on a Friday. Ben and Woods, 97.3, The Fan. Great to be here with all of you. It looks to be an absolutely stunning day out there in America's finest city, as it usually is. Even when it's bad, it's still pretty good. Like pizza, it's even like yesterday was a little bit chilly, some sprinkles. Still pretty great, man. Still pretty great.
What's the worst pizza?
The worst pizza?
I know what you're saying. Like bad pizza is still edible.
Oh, the worst pizza is probably pizza with no sauce, or when they try to get funny with the sauce. Like I just put marinara sauce on it and then
I can
build
do
around
a white
it.
pizza with
I can't
no
do a
sauce.
white pizza.
Wait,
is white pizza Alfredo or is that just no sauce?
It's usually just no sauce.
Okay, I mean it's not bad. Right? Even that's not terrible.
No,
but like
I think the
when
worst.
you eat a barbecue chicken or a buffalo pizza,
I'll eat a
so
barbecue
you shouldn't
chicken
just
pizza.
put marinara. You need sauce, not
I
specifically.
need sauce of some sort, but I don't want Alfredo sauce. Does that make sense?
What I don't like is when the crust is very doughy, soft.
Correct.
Like
I like a little crisp.
Cooked. Yeah, that's
Starving.
And it's like a big, giant, puffy, soft crust. I don't want that.
Did you ever eat the stuffed crust with stuffed
My
with
kids
cheese?
love stuffed crust pizza, so I have
delicious.
definitely finished a few slices in my day.
Delicious.
It's not the worst.
It's not the worst
It's
thing
not the
ever.
worst.
We should stuff more crusts with things, in my opinion. Just more stuff in it.
I can never understand people who don't eat the crust on their pizza.
Me neither. It's like the best part.
And
if it's good.
So I was having pizza with my buddy, and his friend was with us last year when I was on my my vacation.
Yeah.
And my friend's buddy, Michael, didn't eat the crusts on his pizza.
Like a 6-year-old.
Yeah. And I go, the crust, I think, is like the best part of the pizza. And I told him
it's a holder and it's edible.
I blew his mind. I said, if they had just cut off the crusts and brought them before the meal in a basket, and it was a warm basket of just crust, you wouldn't be able to stop eating them.
Correct.
You keep reaching in and you just be eating like the breadsticks. And he goes, you just blew my mind.
Yeah.
You were absolutely right. If they just gave you pizza crust with no cheese, no sauce, and they put them in a basket and put it like free on your table to start your meal, you wouldn't stop eating them. Even someone who doesn't eat the crust would love pizza crust without anything else on.
Correct. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm Woodsy. That's Adam Klug. He is filling in for the great Paul Reindl, who's in Las Vegas right now. Ben Higgins is your friendly neighborhood sports anchor and news anchor tonight. The big dog. Get another call from the bullpen. Going to be anchoring on Channel 10.
That is correct. Channel 10.
I almost said Channel 11. Is there a Channel 11?
Up in LA, there is.
Is that KTLA?
KTTV?
KTTV? I don't know.
KTLA is 5, I believe, up there.
I don't follow. Well, I think this qualifies as breaking news. The San Diego Padres are calling up. Now, this is according to a gentleman. Put my glasses on.
Daniel
Alvarez
Montes, who is he's the chair of the Miami branch of the Baseball Writers Association of America. So
it's a scoop from him.
Director and writer of El Extra Base, Venezuelan writer. But if he's the chair of the BBWAA, that's pretty credible. So go ahead, give him the news.
The news is that San Diego Padres are calling up right-handed pitcher Bradley Rodriguez from AA San Antonio. Rodriguez, 21. Has 12.5 Ks per 9 and 6.20 Ks per walk ratio in 2025. He is the organization's number 14 prospect.
He has been looking pretty nasty at AA San Antonio so far this season.
So he'll slot right into the bullpen?
Yes. The Padres have not announced any corresponding move.
They haven't even announced this move.
No, they haven't announced this move. My guess would be that Kyle Hart is ticketed back for AAA unless they feel like they're going to need him again as a fifth starter, or they may call up someone else.
Matty Waldron, according to Kevin Acee this morning, let's piece all this together. Matty Waldron, I believe they said we'll need one more rehab start. Don't know when that is. If it's today.
So you may still need Kyle Hart to start again.
Yeah.
We'll learn a lot based on who gets sent down. If Kyle Hart gets sent down, then the Padres technically can't bring him back up unless someone gets hurt. So that would mean that they're probably not expecting him to start in 5 days when his turn comes up in the rotation. But there is no other fifth starter right now. If Waldron still needs another AAA rehab start, you could, I don't know what you'd go with. So maybe they have to send down another reliever. David Morgan could get sent down possibly. to make room for Bradley Rodriguez?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. So that'll be a bit telling. If they send down Hart, it makes it seem as though they have another option in mind to be their fifth starter here to start this run of 26 games in 27 days.
Katie in the chat says from Mad Friars, Rodriguez has not allowed a run in 10 of 11 May outings. Possibly more impressive, the flame-throwing Rodriguez has not walked a batter in 4 weeks. That is fantastic.
That
David
is
J.,
impressive.
who is the king of Mad Friars, says Bradley has a wicked repertoire. It's hard to say a guy who hits triple digits has 2 pitches better than his fastball, but that's the case with him. So yeah, there you go. That's awesome. Looking forward to seeing him, man. Really looking forward to seeing him. Bradley Rodriguez, a San Diego Padre.
My guess is you will see more moves in this coming month than you have seen in the first 2 months of the season. With so many games and so few off days, AJ is going to have to rely much more liberally on pitchers in AAA and AA to kind of help fill the gaps, because you don't have, those extra days where you can rest relievers.
Yeah.
Which means more back-to-back days for guys, and you'll have to send guys down who have, hey, he's pitched 3 days in a row now. He's useless for the next 3 days. We'll just send him down and bring someone else up, and you're going to have more of a revolving door of arms over this next month. Yeah, Janine says, bring up Bergert. You probably will see him. You'll probably see Omar Cruz return. A lot of these guys have a chance to get opportunities likely over this next month.
Excellent. Yeah, but it has not been made official, and again, no corresponding move yet. But we will have that for you right here on the home of the San Diego Padres, 97.3 The Fan, as soon as we get that information.
I am just seeing the video now of frustrated Adam.
Isn't that great?
On social media that was posted.
Yeah. Did you see this, Adam? Angry Adam.
Who's got it? I'll pull it.
Woods just reposted it on Twitter, but it's from Jed_B on social media. And it was a clip from when we had Darren Smith on in our last segment, but the audio was not going out over the air. Apparently, it was going out over our YouTube stream, but we couldn't hear Darren.
That's so good.
And Adam couldn't hear Darren, and he got frustrated, and he gives it a very enthusiastic slamming of his arms down toward the control board. I don't think he damaged anything, but did you see the video?
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. Did you see it, Adam?
Yeah.
It's great.
Is it eyewash? Are you showing your frustration?
Oh, yeah. Is that eyewash from
to
Adam?
make everybody
It's
know how
not eyewash.
frustrated you are?
I don't want the show to drop off at all when Paulie's out.
Well, too late. It automatically does.
Ouch.
No, it's the
You're trying to show us that you care, how much you care about the show.
I was texting with Darren last night about getting this all set up, and he was like, well, we can just take the easy way and do the phone. I go, since when do we settle for the easy way? We do what's best for the show. And so, I talked a big game, and let's get the Zoom going.
Look,
and then I
man,
messed up.
Neil Peart from Rush, one of the greatest drummers, if not the greatest drummer of all time, passed away. And it was very sad. And Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson, they still get together and they jam for hours a day. They're best friends. And if they decided we're going to go back on tour, and we're as Rush, but there's no Neil Peart, I would still go see them. But I would know this isn't the best version of it, and that's okay. It's okay. You're not Paul. Nobody is going to be Paul. Right?
Yeah.
So there you go. You are.
I try my damnedest.
Paulie is Neil Peart, but he's still alive.
Because Adam looked almost like a drummer with a flourish as he was coming down, that you were suggesting he may be the next Neil Peart.
He could. But again, when Neil Peart's not there, it is what it is. I just get Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson up there playing Rush songs with a much worse drummer. You're a much worse producer than Paul. Really? But that's okay.
I mean, I get it.
Paulie's that good.
There are tremendous drummers, but over the course of most songs where they're keeping the beat, it's not the
that dude has never just kept the beat in his
but
life.
No, every drummer at some point has to simply be the background, keeping the beat as the guitarist is playing, as they are singing. Can you tell the difference between a great drummer and an okay drummer?
Oh, my God, yes.
In those moments?
Yes.
I'm not talking about the big solos.
No,
I'm not talking about the end of Whiplash. I'm not talking about, Genesis and Phil Collins. And I'm talking about
the answer is
just in the normal. You can tell.
Oh, my God.
See, I mean, they're all on beat to me. I've never heard a drummer off beat.
I mean, look, it's filling the space. Number one, it is keeping incredible time. But the little fills, like I think about Stuart Copeland from The Police. I think like if you watched, I saw.
You see so much more live music now. When they're recording, I'm sure they wait until they absolutely get it right before they release the track. And if the drummer's offbeat, we're not going to hear that track. And that's what I'm listening to mostly, obviously, when I'm listening to music. You can hear it live, though, when the drummer's not quite.
You really notice a great drummer, right? You notice a really, really great drummer. Stuart Copeland from The Police, the guy from Tool, Danny, oh, God, it's escaping me right now. All those guys, man, like Neil Peart, John Bonham, hell, even Dave Grohl when he was in his prime, you can hear it, and it makes all the difference. The difference. Yeah, you can tell a great drummer and a not so great drummer. Danny Carey, that's right. God, he's incredible for Tool. It's like one of the best I've ever seen in my whole life. And yeah, if Tool went out on tour without Danny Carey, they would really, really suffer. They would just have some guy back there playing the beats. It's not even close.
Okay.
And Adam's close, but he's not.
I'm not saying that drummers aren't important.
I'm not trying to slam Adam. I'm just trying to build up Paulie. Does that make sense?
I know I can't really. I don't think I can hear that
at your expense. But yes, it's Rush without Neil Peart.
Just got a question. So if you listened yesterday, I told you my son is heading out on a road trip up to Northern California to the Pacific Northwest because he's thinking of moving in up there with some of his friends. Now that he's 19 and he's wrapping up junior college, so he's on this road trip, and he stopped in, I think, Red Bluff, California last night.
Where that is.
His first solo hotel room
ever.
Yeah, and everything went well. It was good. He checked in a couple of times with me on the trip. No trouble on the drive. A little traffic in LA as expected, and checked into his hotel. Got there, a little before 8:00, I think. So he just texted me and asked me a question. He said, "So, when I leave, do I need to actually go down and tell them that I'm checking out?"
Yes, if you're in 1969,
or do I just leave the key in the room and go?
Just bail.
And I don't actually. I mean, yes, you
just
can.
Go.
I know you can, but isn't it a courtesy to tell the front desk that you're leaving? Because then they can get housekeeping can get to the room a little sooner, and they know you're gone. They don't have to knock and wonder if you're still there or not. Shouldn't you tell the front desk that you are checking out and that you're leaving?
You don't have to check out anymore.
I know you don't have to, but I think you should.
I don't think you should.
I mean, it's courtesy to let them know that you're leaving.
Let's get into it then. That guy, had he arrived in Red Bluff, California yesterday at noon, and he had a reservation, you know what they would have told him? We'll see you in 4 hours, pal. Go kill time for 4 hours. Right? So somebody checked out at 11, 10, whatever. 6 hours has passed. My room's not ready, so I got to wait. You're going to make me wait 6 hours. That's why I don't feel bad about leaving a key in the room. Like, for example, my Airbnb I'm checking into today, which I paid full price for. I paid for a full Friday. You know what time the guys let me check in? 4.
That's the new check-in.
That's the new check-in. It used to be 3.
4.
So, no, I don't feel bad, not even a little bit of leaving a key in the room and just leaving when I want to. Make sure he stops by the Cone and Kimball Plaza to see the clock tower before he leaves, known as the center of the city. That is literally the only thing on their Wikipedia page of any interest in Red Bluff.
What if they don't you want to check the charges just in case they're wrong before you leave too as well?
No, because they usually I don't know what kind of hotel this is, but they usually email you one.
That's true.
And then you can go through and call if there's anything.
Now, if I can check out through my TV, I sometimes do.
That's a good bit too. I like that in Vegas.
I do that. Checking out through your television.
I do that.
I've definitely taken advantage of that a couple of times.
Yeah, I have no. It's like I have no problem being somewhat not mean, but
Kurt says he can pay an additional $40 to get early check-in, but
I can't.
They should refund you money for early checkout.
Correct.
Yeah, if I'm leaving at 6 a.m.
Yeah,
give me some money back then. You got this room for much more time. You can charge someone $40 to get into my room at noon now.
The whole thing
you couldn't. So I should be getting that money back.
The whole thing. Is there anything worse than going on a vacation and you get to vacation and you're like, all right, flight lands at 8 a.m. and you got your kids and you go to check in. They're like, no, we'll see you at 4 or whatever. You're like, all right. I mean, yes, you could have planned your trip a little bit better to get in closer, but sometimes you just want to get to Orlando or wherever you're going, right? So you do the bit of like, hey, you can leave your luggage here and you guys can just go out to the pool. It's a nightmare. So no, I don't feel bad even a little about walking out the door of a hotel and leaving my room key in there.
We've definitely done the arriving early. Your room's not ready. We'll hold your bags for the next 4 hours, and then you have to just
amble around town, grab some lunch, and then finally go to check in at 4 o'clock.
3.5 hours left.
Yeah,
now.
and then then guess what? Bedtime's at 8 for the kids. So thanks for the 4 hours that I paid full price for today. So I don't feel bad.
All right. Well, I told him, no, you don't have to, but you can if as a courtesy.
It's so funny to think about this because he's literally like this is his first excursion out on his own.
Yeah.
It's great. It's such a good life experience.
It
for
is.
him. He's got to be careful on the roads, pay attention. He's adulting.
He's adulting.
Oh, I bet you're a nervous wreck.
I really do. I trust him.
It's not him.
Like
it's other people. It's other people on the roads. It's all that. I'm not trying to spin you out. I'm just telling you what I'd be spun out about.
All right. Well, that's my story, and I'm moving on.
All right.
We've got Take on Woods coming up in our next segment. If you want to be our last contestant of the month, this is your chance. Our musical trivia challenge against Woodsy, 833-288-0973. You can qualify for a trip to Las Vegas where you can check out of your room via usually the television.
And in Vegas, they're pretty good about letting you check in early. They have a lot of rooms there.
They do have a lot of rooms there. 833-288-0973. We'll play our game, and then we got our manager's report coming up at the top of the hour, all ahead with Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000-466. For a full list of games and rules, play at 7 Mile Casino. Visit 7milecasino.com.
Yeah, they do have, obviously, casinos in Las Vegas as well. But none, I think, are as convenient or as fun as 7 Mile Casino.
No question.
It's just such an awesome space. It's not big. It's not small. It's just right. I like to say it's the Goldilocks of casinos.
Yeah, it is absolutely just the perfect size. It's got everything that you're looking for. If you're a card player, that's the place for you at 7 Mile Casino. Take your high limit action on California style blackjack, Texas Hold'em, Pi Gower, Baccarat as well. Just a great place, great food, friendly dealers, all of it clean. Smoke free.
It is.
All that.
This weekend, check out their brunch, Saturdays and Sundays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's voted best in the South County at Sammy's at 7 Mile. Really fantastic. If you're not there for brunch, though, dinner, lunch, or the 24/7 players menu that they've got available all day long, and you don't have to drive way out into the East County. You don't have to drive 6 hours to Las Vegas. It's right there. You hop on the 5, head south to Chula Vista, Bay Boulevard, west side of the freeway. It's 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Technical difficulties.
Through the roof.
But hopefully, I see a couple of people online, and we don't know if they can hear us or not, or if we can hear them or not for our game of Take on Woods, which is coming up momentarily. Woods and I spent the entire break while Adam was frustrated watching Bradley Rodriguez highlights.
I got to say, I'm pretty excited, man.
On social media.
Just saw this from Mad Friars, too. Rodriguez has a huge fastball, but the changeup is, hands down, his nastiest offering. We had him as the Padres' number 14 prospect coming into the season. Very cool.
You asked, if he's this good,
yeah,
why is he just the number 14 prospect?
Are we that deep?
I would imagine that all of your top prospects have to be either everyday position players or starting pitchers. And this Bradley is really projected as just a relief pitcher. So the ceiling, even if you become, I mean, it would be great. He eventually becomes a closer and a top-notch reliever. That's great. But your top prospects are generally the guys who are looking at everyday position play or starting rotation guys. So, but arm-wise, yeah, I don't think you can argue that he's got some nasty stuff, and I'm very excited to see his major league debut either tonight or probably sometime this weekend against the Pittsburgh Pirates. We will talk maybe with Mike Shildt. I don't know if he'll confirm, deny, deflect if we ask him about Bradley Rodriguez, but he will join us for our manager's report, refreshed by Eco Water SoCal, coming up at 9 o'clock this morning. Try alkaline water for just $9.95 a month. Eco Water SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. Before that, though, let's get to today's game. Cross our fingers. It is time for Take on Woods.
It's time for Take on Woods. Take on
Woods. Woods.
Take on Woods brought to you by Bay Alarm, security and fire alarms for every business. We got you. And the question is, do we have any of our callers? I'm going to line one.
I am here.
Matthew is there. We can hear you just fine, even though Adam had no chance of talking to you over there during the break. You are in as our contestant today. If you can beat or tie Woods, you will be our last qualifier this month for our grand prize trip to Las Vegas. We got 2 tickets to Bruno Mars for his show at Dolby Live at Park MGM on September 3rd. Matthew's into it. 2-night stay at the Park MGM and a $100 gift card. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. All right, to do so, you will have to tie or beat him in one of these 3 categories. When is now, all 2-second songs, all beginning with the word when. Talking to the divine. It is a category written by Tier 1 Billy. 5 song titles that include the word prayer. And our new category, and I'm excited about this one, submitted by 10-year-old Tier 1 Adrian and his Aunt Vanessa. It is called LFGSD, and it is famous Padres walk-up songs over the years. So, when is now Talking to the Divine or LFGSD? Matthew, which one would you like to play?
Let's go LFGSD.
Oh, we're going right to it. I hope he's listening. Adrian said his last day of school was on Thursday, which means he is out there and hopefully listening for his category called LFGSD. 5 songs that have all been used by past and present Padres players as their walk-up music. Otherwise, traditional game here of Take on Woods. You'll get your 2-second song. You'll need to give me the song title and the artist to score that point, and then we'll go through the regular questions. You don't need to tell me who it is that was the walk-up guy. You just know that all of these songs have been used by Padres past and present as walk-up songs. Okay, Matthew, are you ready to play?
I'm ready.
All right. Don't forget, if you don't know one, you can pass. We can come back to it if there's time left on the clock. Adam, are you ready? Technical issues aside, we should be good to go. All right. Let's put 60 seconds on the clock. Matthew, the category is LFGSD. Your time begins when Adam plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Woods. Correct. Which Motley Crue song is a reference to the adrenaline shot bassist Nicky Sixx received after his drug overdose?
Kickstart My Heart.
Correct. Dr. Dre introduces himself at the beginning of which 1995 hit that was the only single released from the soundtrack of the movie Friday?
The Chronic.
Pass. Which 2002 release was the most commercially successful hit for rapper Earl Simmons, better known as DMX?
Oh, pass.
We're Not Against Rap is the first line from which successful 1994 debut single by Bone Thugs and Harmony?
Crossroads.
Incorrect. Dr. Dre introduces himself at the beginning of which 1995 hit that was the only single released from the soundtrack to the movie Friday?
Nothing but a cheesesteak.
Incorrect. Which 2000? Oh, and time is up. All right. So you got the first 2. Your score is 2. Let's put you on hold. All right. You got Hell's Bells, AC/DC, of course, Trevor Hoffman. Kickstart My Heart, Motley Crue, Will Myers. Keep Their Heads Ringing by Dr. Dre. That's Jake Cronenworth. X Gonna Give It to You by DMX, of course, Xander Bogaerts. And then the last one, Thuggish Ruggish Bone, Brian O'Grady's walk-up song from Bone Thugs and Harmony. All right, Woods is going to come back in. See if your score holds up, Matthew. Same 5 questions, same 60 seconds. Woods, your time begins when Adam plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Matthew.
It's Hell's Bells by AC/DC.
Correct. Which Motley Crue song is a reference to the adrenaline shot bassist Nicky Sixx received after...
Kickstart My Heart.
Correct. Dr. Dre introduces himself at the beginning of which 1995 hit that was the only single released from the soundtrack to the movie Friday?
Keep Their Heads Ringing.
Correct. Which 2002 release was the most commercially successful hit for rapper Earl Simmons, better known as DMX?
What is the category? Bells, heads, ringing, ring. Pass.
We're Not Against Rap is the first line from which successful 1994 debut single by Bone Thugs and Harmony?
First of the month.
Incorrect. Which 2002 release was the most commercially successful hit for rapper Earl Simmons, better known as DMX?
What is the frigging category? Hell's Bells.
Kickstart My Heart.
Kickstart
Keep
My
Their
Heart.
Heads
Keep
Ringing.
Their Heads Ringing.
If you can figure out the category, that would
I have
be
no idea.
very impressive. Don't know the answer to this one?
Fresh take. No.
You did get the win 3-2.
Oh,
Hell's Bells is, of course, the walk-in song for Trevor Hoffman.
Okay.
Kickstart My Heart, Will Myers.
Will Myers.
Keep Their Heads
Oh.
Ringing, Jake Cronenworth. X Gonna Give It to You
X
by
Gonna Give It to
DMX,
You.
Xander Bogaerts.
Damn it.
And Thuggish Ruggish
It's the
Bone,
best.
Brian O'Grady's walk-up song.
It's the
And that was a category. Thank you. Tier 1 Adrian, 10 years old.
10 years old.
And his Aunt Vanessa put that one together for us. Matthew, I'm sorry, 2 was not quite enough, but a fun category on a Friday
That would have helped me.
called LFGSD.
That would have
that would have helped you a
Yeah.
lot, I thought. So.
Yep. Oh, man. Kyle Schwarber's walk-up was thuggish, ruggish bone. It's pretty badass.
Is it too?
Yeah, it's pretty badass.
All right, we are going to
It
come
was.
back. We can talk about Kyle Schwarber. Had a home run yesterday. Take a look at the rest of baseball. Some big news. Dodgers make a trade, and the Braves suffer what looks like a pretty big injury. They just made some roster moves as well. So we get you caught up on the news of the morning in Major League Baseball before Mike Shildt joins us at the top of the hour. It's all coming up on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
But this weekend, wanted to let you know if you are in the market for a new automobile, wanted to send you down to Sedano Ford in La Mesa. Manny Sedano isn't just the owner. He's a veteran. It's a local-owned dealership. Great dude. Want to get you in the car or truck of your dreams this weekend. All right. Got great deals locked in at the dealership down in La Mesa. Mega sale time. The 2025 Ford F-150 Lightning XLT, just $129 a month. Or choose the Escape Active or Bronco Sport Big Ben, just $219 a month. Or the F-150 XL Super Crew Cab, just $299 a month. Got room for the crew, any muscle, and all the muscle for any job that you may have. Keeping it running is a snap. Sedano Ford's mobile service will come right to your home or office. No waiting rooms, no hassle. Definitely hate the hassle of a waiting room. When you go in, let them know Woodsy sent you down there. Take good care of you as they did. Our buddy Tier 1 just bought one, a brand new, beautiful white. I think it was an F-150 like a week ago. Looks so good. Let them know I sent you down there. Take good care of you. For details about these offers, please visit SedanoFord.com, or again, head down to the dealership in La Mesa. But everything can be found online as well at SedanoFord.com.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Overwhelmed by processed foods, U.S. Wellness Meats offers an all-natural alternative. 100% grass-fed beef, pork, poultry, wild-caught seafood, and more. Shipped free from family farms. Get 20% off your first order at uswellnessmeats.com.
Baseball is a tough business, isn't it?
It is. A lot of transactions this morning, but one in particular that is not official yet, but is being reported catching your eye.
Yeah, Matt Mervis and Ronnie Simone. He of the four, maybe four errors the other night here in San Diego from the Miami Marlins, designated for assignment by the Marlins, per their beat writer Craig Mish. Tough business.
So that kind of frustrates me a little bit, just because you were kind of cheering for him to bounce back.
Big time.
He didn't play in the next game. He got text messages from, Manny and Tatis and Arise, keep your head up, kid. Everyone has a bad day in the big leagues.
You're out.
It's how you bounce back from that bad day that really counts.
Yeah, you don't.
You have to get, if you don't get a chance to bounce back from the bad day,
Can't do it.
You can't bounce back
It's
from
tough,
the bad
man.
day. That's kind of frustrating.
Why am
But
I the only one on the stream, Adam?
it's also a business, and they could have a number of reasons. And I'm sure that it wasn't like, oh, he was our top player all year long, and then all of a sudden he committed 3 errors and we're just getting rid of him.
Yeah.
Probably was kind of heading in that direction anyway if they were already going to make this move.
Yeah.
So, he shouldn't beat himself up. Oh, if I had just made those plays, I'd still be on the team today. You don't know that that's the case. They
But
may
you
have
don't know
needed
that
to
that's
make a
not the
move.
case either.
You don't. You certainly don't. Go Marlins. They're going to be playing, I believe, the Giants. They're hosting the Giants this weekend.
Yep.
So you could use some help from Miami to at least get one, maybe a couple of those games against the San Francisco Giants. We've also had some other transactions this morning. The Atlanta Braves have made some moves, and they had already placed right-handed pitcher A.J. Smith-Shawver on the 10 or the 15-day injured list after he felt a pop in his elbow, which is never a good thing. They have already transferred him to the 60-day injured list. So that's a clear sign that this is a serious, likely season-ending injury for A.J. Smith-Shawver. Braves today have recalled left-handed pitcher Dylan Dodd and selected outfielder Jose Azocar to the major league roster. Sugar back in the big leagues. Club placed outfielder Stuart Fairchild on the 10-day injured list with a dislocated pinky finger, and option right-handed pitcher Michael Peterson to AAA Gwinnett. Is it Gwinnett or Gwinnett? Gwinnett following last night's game. So the Braves making some moves, and yesterday the Los Angeles Dodgers made a move, a trade to bolster their bullpen. They acquired from the Cincinnati Reds former closer Alexis Diaz in exchange for 2024 draft pick pitcher Mike Villani. Diaz, interesting arm because he was an all-star.
Yes.
And was pretty nasty as their closer, then got hurt, and then couldn't figure it out, and they sent him down to AAA, which is where he's been and is currently in AAA. Now he's going to go apparently to AAA for the Dodgers until they can presumably fix him, and I think everyone knows what usually happens with these. And then in about a month, he's going to come up and he's going to be nasty again, pitching for the Dodgers organization, or we'll never hear from him again.
I mean, or he'll be on the IL. I mean, one of the two.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's a very low risk, high ceiling. He's been there. He's done it before. If they look at that and say, oh, this is an easy fix, right? This is an arm slot or whatever. A mechanical issue, which they've done before. And we've done it. Everybody, we've done it to really great success here in San Diego. So, yeah, man, very buy low type move. But it does I saw a lot of Dodger fans speculating yesterday, oh, no, while it's great, and potentially get a really big power arm in your bullpen, does that mean a guy like Evan Phillips or something is out for the year? And I think they transferred him to the 60, if I'm not mistaken.
They did.
So
it's certainly, at the very least, a sign that the Dodgers are in some dire straits when it comes to their bullpen injuries.
Their
was
bullpen
obvious before. I mean, Kirby Yates has been out.
Yeah.
Evan Phillips has been
Trinan's
out. Trinan's been out. They've definitely are missing a bunch of their top arms. So they're looking for bodies. They're taking a flyer here that they can find something in Alexis Diaz, who originally was a Dodgers prospect. Did I read that?
Oh,
perhaps
maybe.
Before he went to the Reds. So maybe getting him back and, kind of getting him back on track could be added to their bullpen at some point. So that was the Dodgers news.
You brought up the Braves, and I wanted to mention this because I tweeted about it yesterday, and I got Adam Klug in here as a Braves fan growing up and follows the team. Brian Snitker it's been an interesting cat. And I think I've only really started noticing this year some of the inconsistencies with Brian Snitker because the Braves have been pretty good, and I know they were ravaged by injuries last year. I thought he did a good job getting that team to the playoffs, period. Just the fact with Strider being out all year, Acuna being out, great job. Like we smoked them here in San Diego in the playoffs, but they were without Chris Sale. They were without a lot of pieces. Felt pretty comfortable in that series. This season comes around, and you're expected to get Acuna back. He's back. You have really good players. You get good pitching. The thing that was weird yesterday was somebody tweeted that, guys, check out this video. AJ Smith-Shawver is standing out on the mound, and he throws a pitch, and then he shakes his elbow, shakes his arm, ouch. And then no one comes out, so he's like, I'll throw another pitch, and then shakes his arm again. It's happened before here where a pitcher will throw one. I don't see anything. I notice nothing, but Kyle Higashioka would run out quickly, and then Shildt would beeline out of the, and then the trainers, you're like, what did I miss? It would be the slightest shoulder move. That's he doesn't do that. So AJ Smith-Shawver is out there shaking his arm. Brian Snitker, there's a video of him. He's sitting, staring at the mound. It's almost like the dude's sleeping with his eyes open. No one did anything until Spencer Strider, of all people, walked up to the pitching coach and Brian Snitker and goes, hey, there's something wrong with him. And they're like, oh, okay. And then they go out and talk to him. And he says, I heard a pop. And he threw another pitch after that, maybe even two after that happened. How does that happen? What's he doing? He missed the Kellenic play earlier. Hey, Snit, what happened, with him not hustling? Oh, I didn't see it. What were you what were you? What kind of manager does that?
Well, I don't necessarily blame the manager. Someone on the coaching staff has to be locked into every player. Now, you can't possibly be locked into every player on every.
No, you really just have to watch the pitcher. But
if you're the pitcher and you hear something pop, shouldn't you call them
wave
out?
Something?
The manager may have other, strategic stuff that they're thinking about. I mean, you said he was looking out there.
He was staring
nice
dead
if
at
he noticed it, but I would put it more on the pitching coach. Now, it is It is a little different. Now, was there any concerning signs going into this start? I think of Joe Musgrove's start in the playoffs last year. The Padres knew.
Oh, they knew.
We didn't know at
we
the
didn't
time.
know.
Padres knew that his elbow was like hanging on by a thread. So they were watching extremely closely. Sure. And you could see like instantly how they were all jumping out and running out. Okay, they knew it was coming.
Joe knew it.
I don't know that A.J. Smith-Shawver had shown any sign. Sometimes a ligament pops and there's no warning. You feel fine, 100% fine. And then one pitch later, it's done. And yeah, I could see a team going a pitch or two without realizing something bad had happened in a situation like that.
It's wild though, man. The shaking of the arm is just kind of like 101 but again, Ben, it's not just Snitker. You're right. The pitching coach and Snitker missed it. And one of their pitchers had to walk up and tell them, hey, fellas, you may want to go check on A.J. Smith-Shawver because he's shaking his arm violently after every pitch.
Speaking of the Braves, they split a doubleheader with the Phillies yesterday. First game,
up Wheeler.
Kyle Schwarber hit his 19th home run in a 5-4 win. But the second game, Braves came back and beat the Phillies 9-3, a little milestone. Chris Sale became the fastest pitcher in MLB history to 2,500 career strikeouts, which surprised me a little bit in that I know Chris Sale, really good pitcher, Cy Young Award winner. I didn't realize like historically, I think of guys like, Randy Johnson and like true like strikeout artists, but we live now in an era where strikeouts are so much more common than they used to be. A 10 strikeout game, much more common, I think, now than when we were growing up. Sure. It took, some Kerry Wood type stuff. And even Kerry Wood, he had his 20 strikeout game, but he didn't do it every single time out. Nowadays, if you're a strikeout pitcher, you don't strike out 7 or 8, at least you had a bad start.
We grew up with some pretty nasty strikeout artists, Nolan Ryan, Roger Clemens. Of course. I mean, some of the nastiest.
But think about that. Chris Sale is faster to 2,500 than
Roger
Nolan
Clemens.
Than Roger Clemens.
That's crazy.
That's a sign of the era.
Pedro.
That's a sign of the era, I think, rather than say, oh, Chris Sale's clearly a better strikeout pitcher than Pedro Martinez or Roger Clemens. No, he's good, but I don't necessarily put him on that. Those guys are like top tier Hall of Famers. I see Chris Sale as probably a Hall of Famer.
He's a Hall of Famer.
But I don't. Yeah. He's not necessarily like a unanimous first ballot Hall of Famer.
He's like not. Are we watching the same Chris Sale over the last 10 years?
I just said he's a Hall of Famer. Is he a guy who's going to get 99.9% of the vote? No, he's not going to get every vote his first time on the ballot.
I look at him a little differently. Check traffic.
Checking traffic, and we'll get back to this on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Improvements on southbound 15 in the North County, crash cleared near Felicita, and they got that one out of Middle Lane just past Via Rancho Parkway. Emergency crews are on scene of a crash now westbound King Freeway near the 805. It's got the 2 right lanes blocked. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Yeah, he's first ballot guy. 141.86 with a 3.04 career ERA. 2,500 strikeouts.
Didn't have a Cy Young Award until last year.
Yeah, crazy.
First one.
8-time All-Star.
Late in his career at the age of 35, but was a perennial All-Star with the White Sox, early in his career. And then had an injury, didn't play in the 2020 pandemic season. Came back, was
traded. He got traded to the Braves.
He only made 11 starts in 21 and 2022 because of injuries, and then had a rough 2023 with Boston, and that's what ended up sparking his trade and getting him to Atlanta, where he refreshed his career.
What they get for him? Vaughn Grissom,
straight up, and then then the Braves extended an extra year, I believe, or restructured his contract.
Wow!
By the way, career ERA
steal,
career ERA plus of 140, so 40% better than the
Let me put it this way: I think he's a Hall of Famer now. If he had ended his career in 2019, was he a Hall of Famer then? Or did he get into the Hall of Fame based on getting his Cy Young last year and now doing it again late in his career?
Yeah, which is pretty impressive, man. At his age 32 through 36 seasons, cementing that legacy. And that is a pretty mind-blowing stat, fastest to 2,500. That's pretty amazing.
Especially when you missed the better part of 3 years.
Yeah.
Trying to come back from injuries.
Yeah,
and
he's
still ended up as the fastest to 2,500.
Yep.
That surprised me. I'm just saying that I didn't realize he was on that sort of pace as a strikeout pitcher.
Yeah, really, really good.
This weekend, obviously, we got the Padres and Pirates. We'll talk to Mike Shildt coming up, but there's also the World Series rematch between the Yankees and the Dodgers. And I would say usually the media makes too much of things like this. It's just another series for players for the most part. But there was a lot said by the Dodgers in the wake of that World Series about how bad the Yankees played. And
yeah, it was.
I'd imagine if I was a Yankee and I was in that, I would like to redeem myself a little bit in this series against the Dodgers.
No question. And really, it was a bunch of scrubs that were doing the talking. Honestly, it was Joe Kelly, who didn't even play in the World Series. It was Chris Taylor, who barely played, if at all. And John Birdie for the Yankees. Those three were just chopping it up. It's like, again, the Judges, the Otanis, the Mookie Bettses of the world, very respectful. Now, it's a different looking Yankees lineup than it was in the World Series last year. You got Paul Goldschmidt. But cool story, I saw Sarah Lang's tweet. First time in Major League Baseball history, you're going to have both teams leading off with 3 former MVPs.
Oh.
Which is insane. Bellinger, Goldschmidt, and Judge. And, of course, Ohtani, Freeman, and Betts. Nasty, dude. Nasty.
You'll be tired of it by the end of the weekend.
Oh, absolutely.
How much it's stuffed down your face by the national media, but it is happening, and I thought we'd point it out. But we're talking Padres baseball when we come back. It is our manager's report with Mike Shildt as they get ready to host the Pittsburgh Pirates tonight. Don't go anywhere. More Ben and Woods next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Final hour of the week. Ben Woods here on 97.3 The Fan, going until 10 o'clock. And then Matt Scraby will be filling in on the middays today. And, of course, we're going all the way until Padres baseball tonight. Sammy Levitt with our Eco Water SoCal pregame show at 5:40. And then at 6:40, first pitch, Padres and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Nick Pivetta on the mound against Mitch Keller in the first game of the 3-game series at Petco Park.
Can't wait, man. Let's get it going.
Yeah, Padres had success against the Pirates the first time around, swept them in Pittsburgh, and this would be a nice series if you could at least win it and possibly sweep it. Padres are currently 8 games above 500. We talked about the stretch that they're about to face, 26 games in 27 days, and this is the beginning of it. So you definitely don't want to put yourself behind the 8 ball as you get going.
No doubt. Waiting on Shildt?
Cap, still waiting on him. That's all right. We'll have our manager's report probably here shortly with skipper Mike Shildt as he will get ready for the series tonight.
Do we call him or does he call us?
There he is. He's calling right
there
now.
he is. Beautiful.
All right. As Adam gets him ready, I will remind you that the manager's report with Mike Shildt is refreshed by Eco Water SoCal. Try alkaline water for just $9.95 a month. Eco Water SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. We welcome the manager of the San Diego Padres back with us here on 97.3 The Fan. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are we doing today?
Doing good. I want to start with something that we talked about this week that I thought was very impressive by a few of your players, and that was when Ronnie Simone, who committed those the 3 errors on Tuesday in the loss by the Marlins, the second baseman. He said that he had not only Fernando Tatis, but Manny Machado and Luis Arraez all reached out to him after the game via text telling him, hey, keep your head up. Everybody has a bad day in this in this business of baseball. To do that for an opponent who they saw was having a rough day, I thought that spoke volumes of the character of some of your players.
Yeah, I mean, that's who we have. We have high character guys, and empathy for an opponent can be real. I mean, look, we're in real competition and out there looking to win games, and our guys do that very well and compete. But also there's a human factor that few people can really appreciate or understand, and when somebody struggles to that degree in a very, very, very public setting, and it was really a nice touch and very classy that those guys reached out to him immediately and said, hey man, just keep going and you're going to be fine. And all of us, the players, everybody's been there in this stage, and very few can relate. Those nice gesture by the guys.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough to watch, and I was at that game, and just watching him kind of come off the field and knowing a little bit of I can't even imagine on that stage, Shildt. It was tough, but Padres took advantage of those. Sometimes you're going to have those games like that. That was that game that you definitely you felt like, man, 6 runs in the first. That's not ideal. Came back and won it. That was exceptional. It's such a weird game. You lose the one, or you win the one that you feel like you should have lost, and you lose the game you feel like you had in pretty good hand going after Sandy Alcantara. So won the series. Great job the last 2 series. Now you get this fun stretch of 26 games in 27 days. And you as the skipper, you got to be judicious, right, with bullpens and all that stuff. How difficult is this for you guys to navigate?
We just got through playing 9 in a row. So, I mean, that's just part of it, I mean, that's the daily consideration. You're in clearly with 2 feet into the game that particular day, but when you're in a stretch of 26 out of 27 or 9 in a row, especially within that 9 that we just had, you have a full bullpen game and 2 extra inning games, and starter on the last day of all that, not be able to get through 5. That you just got to figure out how to do your work, be judicious about how you use all the moving parts. And we knew going into the Marlins series, as an example, in our pre-series meeting with the catchers and our pitching group, we were pretty clear. I was pretty clear. Like, look, it's just going to happen. We're going to have guys show up in different spots, and we got to be able to figure out how to get through it. And we were able to get through it for a fair amount of it, winning a couple of series and having guys in a little bit different roles. And, it's just part of it.
Yeah, that stretch, a couple of weeks ago where runs were tough to come by. Feels, like the team kind of turning the corner offensively. Do you get that same sense that you can kind of more back to what we saw earlier in the season? I know not everybody, Fernando's still not quite as hot as he can be, but it definitely feels like the lineup's kind of gotten back on track. Do you get that same sense?
Yeah, I definitely do. I mean, there's going to be stretches where, 2 or 3 guys are kind of carrying it, or 4 or 5 guys, or, ideally, of course, 6, 7, 8 guys, 9 guys are, swinging the bat. Well, we've had that, and it's not very common where, a lot of the guys are, in a place that can be a challenge in this game. But, yeah, we're coming out of it. I like the way we did come out of it, in the sense of, guys just figure out a way to get it done, bear down, not in a tension kind of way, but no, I just got to focus a little bit more. Just got to, play the game, because the game doesn't always reward you, but the game will reward you if you play it right. But there's a pretty good guarantee if you don't, it's not going to. And they kept going, and knowing that just around the corner, and we were able to win the series against Atlanta. Tough Atlanta club, and do some really good things on a lot of different levels to find a way to win. Same thing with the Miami series, and he started to see a little bit more consistent at bats with the lineup, that balls were falling, approaches were good, and back to what we kind of expect in a very, like I said, challenging thing to do, which is hit a baseball.
No question about it. Talking to the skipper, Mike Shildt, here on Ben and Woods. And Shilty, this may be online paranoia. It may be some truth to it, certainly. But I think we might have asked you about Pivetta a couple weeks ago. I think it was against the Giants, somebody on second base, and he turned around and they had some words, and it's happened. It's happened throughout baseball. Pitchers, now with PitchCom, they kind of look in, maybe see the grip. Potentially with the Marlins, some guys signaling, maybe. Is it online paranoia? Does this stuff go on a lot? And how do you guys look to combat stuff like that?
I think it goes on quite a bit in this industry. I mean, it's, it still exists. I don't know what the online paranoia is. I didn't know there was paranoia online. That's crazy.
I want to. Can I text you the screenshot after, and then you tell
he's
me?
Poking fun this time.
Oh,
I think he does realize there's online paranoia about everything that has to do with his baseball.
Well, fair enough. But no, it's crazy. Like, it looks very blatant to me. It almost looks too blatant. Like, hey, if you're gonna do it, be a little sly about it. But yeah, just kind of, I'm sure that's something that you and Ruben and those guys talk to the pitchers about. Like, hey, make sure you're covering up, because
this one was on the David Morgan.
Yeah, the David Morgan
right before the 3-run home
That's
run,
right.
Like signaling with his left arm, like, oh, here
comes a heater or whatever. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah.
But just in specifically, yes, we pay attention to it.
Sure. Yeah, I have no doubt.
We have a guy that's in charge of looking at all of that on both sides of the ball. It is rampant among the league. There's every team, some more than others, have overlays, and I mean, it's using the technologies as much as possible for all of that. I don't think I need to see your screensaver or whatever you got, but I feel like yes. But if you paid attention to a lot of the series and you looked at that, like we do consistently.
Yeah.
There was a couple guys just kept their left arm up the whole time. And, there's a subtleness of, like, I don't think that was anything personally. Yeah. I mean, David Morgan's been in the league about, half a minute. And so he's thrown 6 pitches or so before that game. Maybe they did have something. I don't know.
It just takes one, I guess, right?
and maybe they got something from AAA. I mean, that's, we do our own internal audit, feel pretty good about it.
Yeah.
We watched it. Some of it's just gamesmanship. Some of it's just quirkiness with certain runners that we saw that was consistent regardless of pitch. So, yeah, we were on top of it. If you want to isolate, which I believe a lot of people do, and that's okay to isolate, this move or that guy doing it, and then the cause and effect for that, but they don't see the total picture of how it works. And, you can take it out of context and yeah, I'm pretty sure that happens.
Yeah, for sure. Online paranoia.
This is the kind of insight we love, though. This is why we love the Manager's Report with Mike Shildt, refreshed by EcoWater SoCal. Try alkaline water for just $9.95 a month. EcoWater SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. All right, let's talk starting pitching. You got your rotation set with Nick Pivetta tonight going through this series, but going forward, obviously, the questions about Michael King, Darvish's potential return, Matt Waldron getting closer to a return. You've got Stephen Kolek. We just saw Kyle Hart. Any clarity on how the team's going to go forward here with the starting rotation, Skipper?
More clarity. I mean, we're still in the process of, let's take them one at a time. This is a little bit more of a real update. So you guys are getting this scoop,
yes,
so to speak. With Michael, we've been able to rule out a couple of things which are really positive. Nothing structurally in the shoulder, cuff, cap, rotator, any of that. Everything's strong, stable. So that's really positive. Nothing circular, which is also very, very positive. And what they've been able to diagnose is there's some compression on a nerve that needs to relax a little bit. And when it does, he's going to be ready to go. The timing of that, they're just, that could be a short period of time. He is showing like some slight moderate improvement. But it's more of a time thing. And, but yeah, the medical group, which does a great job, has their arms around it and then specified what it is. And now it's a matter of, getting it to where it is no longer bothersome for Michael.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing that you got to manage games, you got to manage the bullpen, and then you got to become a scapula expert. And I've seen you getting asked about it. I almost didn't even want to ask you, but we had to ask you today about Michael King because, everybody loves Kinger. He's such a good, you just feel like you can win every time he's on the bump. How about you, Darvish? How is you progressing?
He is progressing, arms moving. He's been able to play more aggressive catch, just recovery with you.
Yep.
I mean, he went out for the rehab and threw the ball really well. Ball came out, velocity good, pitch is sharp. Just a matter of, the ability to do it every 5 or 6 days. And that's the key to all this. And so he's feeling better. He's in good spirits. He's playing, like I say, more aggressive catch, recovering better. And we'll see how he progresses from all of this.
There is a report, and this is probably something more for AJ, so I won't ask you to confirm it, that Bradley Rodriguez is getting called up. At the very least, you can tell us what you saw from Bradley in spring training, because the videos I've seen seems like got some nasty stuff that he's been throwing down at AA San Antonio this year.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. We saw Bradley in spring training and didn't have a lot of history with him. Had heard reports about his arm, and I really like the way he went about it. He's got a really nice arm, really good slider. You watch guys, at least I do, how they compete in every moment, especially, when they're learning to go to big league camp or getting their feet wet. And, like I was pleased with David Morgan. He went out and got a nice arm and challenged the strike zone. So good. We can work with that. No back down at all. And Bradley had that, his mannerisms as well with, like you say, nasty stuff, and does have some real experience in Venezuelan winter leagues in front of big crowds. So, that's the evaluation of Bradley Rodriguez.
How difficult is it for you to, when you got guys coming up like David Morgan and potentially, allegedly, Bradley Rodriguez, you want to get them in. You want to get their feet wet. The first time you put David Morgan in was a pretty high leverage situation. He got the line drive and then got the other out and had to be feeling on cloud nine. His comments after the game were some of my favorite I've ever heard from a player. I actually wasn't nervous. I was more nervous pitching AAA because I'm trying to get to the big leagues. There's nowhere else to go once you make it to the big leagues. I thought that was incredibly refreshing and cool of him to say. I thought I've never heard that perspective before. And when you're trying to find lanes for these guys, also making a little bit of a soft landing, I would think, for a guy making his debut, how difficult of a challenge is that for you?
It's the same conversation we had earlier that, I think we'll probably continue to have, and that's okay. People it's yeah, of course you want to. I mean, common sense, right? Guy breaks in, you want to give him a soft landing. And then, oh, by the way, you play 9 in a row, and you've had a bullpen game. And,
Yep.
The guys it's just a chess match. And so, yes, you want to give a guy as soft a landing as possible. You want to get him in a game. But that soft landing may not present itself.
Yeah.
So you give him what you think is the best chance. So we brought him in. We had, Wandy erase the lefty before him. We asked him to get 2 rights out of 2 righties, 2 outs out of 2 righties, and put him in his best shot position as he could in the 6th inning, and he did it.
Yep.
So it was great. But that was the best opportunity we had for his spot relative to the other 7 guys in the bullpen and what our starters have presented and what the game presents. And so, there's a lot of factors to it.
Well, we appreciate the breaking positive news about Michael King. We love it when we get a little scoop for our listeners, and we appreciate that and wish you guys best of luck this weekend against the Pittsburgh Pirates, and we'll talk to you again coming up next month in June. Skip?
Look forward to it. You guys have a great day.
Thank you. Mike Shildt, manager of the San Diego Padres. Our manager's report refreshed by Eco Water SoCal. Yeah, that is undoubtedly good news about Michael King, that there is no structural damage at all in his shoulder. They've checked everything, the rotator cuff, the muscle, the ligaments, the circle, whatever that means. I didn't know exactly, but he said it looked good. It is simply a nerve that's being kind of impacted. My guess would be,
nerve damage. If nerve damage makes me a little bit
damage,
not damage, but
just kind of something, probably some inflammation or something that's pressing on the nerve. And as soon as that calms down, sounds like Michael King could return pretty quickly when that happens.
I hope
now,
so.
How long that takes to calm down? He said the time frame for that is a bit uncertain, but you certainly, I think, breathe a big sigh of relief with the idea that this should not be something that is keeping Michael King out an extended period of time. Now, it doesn't necessarily help you in this stretch right at the moment where you're playing a bunch of games here in the month of June coming up, 26 games, 27 days, but it does mean that you're probably not going to be dealing with an extended absence on the injured list for Michael King.
Yeah. And Dennis Lynn just actually tweeted out the news. Padres will be calling up, select the contract of top relief prospect Bradley Rodriguez. San Diego has a 6.78 bullpen ERA since May 6th. A couple of rough outings will do that to a bullpen. So love to get that number down. Love to see what this kid can do. Love to see what kind of lane and landing Mike Shildt gives him.
That's pretty good review from the skipper.
No doubt.
Just from spring training, and said he has pitched in some big games in Venezuela, that he's got some experience. So it sounds like he's probably going to be willing to lean on him. This isn't let's bring him in the 4th inning if the starter struggles guy. This is someone they might put in, especially knowing you can't pitch Estrada, Suarez, Adam, Morejon every day.
Correct.
That you'll need high leverage guys for those other days with so many games in a row, and perhaps Bradley Rodriguez, perhaps still David Morgan, going to be in that mix for big batters, big sequences in some of these games coming up. All right, we'll take a quick timeout. We can react to more about what you just heard from the skipper, Mike Shildt, and we got a Klug report still to come before the end of the show. All ahead with Bennett Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Before we go to traffic, though, I want to talk about sdfatloss.com. We're here at the end of May. If it's been on your mind, if you've been thinking about losing weight, I implore you, take advantage right now of the spring special. Get $200 off, and then by the end of July, which means you'll still have August, September, and honestly, October is probably kind of extended summer here in San Diego as well, to enjoy our great weather, shorts, bathing suits. You can be a completely different you in just 60 days. I lost 40 pounds in 60 days, and that is not uncommon. Many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. They're talking a pound of fat per day, 10 to 20% of your body weight in 60 days. So it matters where you start, but it worked for me, and I did it without exercise, without injections, and without any bars or shakes. It's just real food, stuff I was eating from the grocery store like steak and chicken. I lost the weight, and I've kept the weight off now for 2 full years. Find out how the program can work for you. Speak to one of their great supportive counselors by setting up a free consultation at sdfatloss.com. What do you have to lose other than the weight and back pain and knee pain and sleep apnea? I've gotten rid of all of those things since I went on the program. Give it a try. Take advantage. Again, $200 off in the summer special right now at sdfatloss.com. Results may vary.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
In town too, one of our biggest tier ones from Dallas, here in Dallas, came in to watch the Pods this weekend. I was just showing them. I got a video from my wife. My son did his first public speaking engagement today at his school. One of his kindergarten teacher is retiring.
Paid gig?
Not a paid gig. He's like his dad. He just does it on the house. Just whatever you need, come on out. If you need a voice for whatever reason, just ask me and I'll
like father, like son.
Yeah, like father, like son. So no, not a paid gig. But he was really nervous. Obviously, he's 7. Had to get the mic in front of all the kids and go up and give a little speech about his teacher, Miss Murphy, who's retiring, and he did such a great job. I'm so proud of him for just overcoming that. You know, it's not easy. It's not easy.
Public speaking is hard.
It is very difficult.
It's one of the biggest
fears ever. Yeah.
That people have in life is public speaking.
Yeah.
And I can understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the two of us have mostly gotten over it,
Yeah.
but it's not ever completely gone. You always think about it. Mike Shildt has to do it every single day. I think about Shildt.
I do too, man.
Having to do those media scrums,
So
the post game that's on live on television that they're showing on, Padres.tv after the game, knowing I am speaking for probably 15, 20 minutes, live on television every single day. That's part of that job.
Yeah, it is.
And it's not one that you're really trained for. You're trained for the baseball part of it. And then you got to kind of figure out, you got people in the organization who can help a little bit, but you got to figure out the public speaking part of that gig that is very much an important part of the job.
Yeah, man. The weird thing is I was down on in the what do you call it? The dugout the other day, and Shildt was doing his, pregame deal. What you don't realize is just how close everyone is to him. I mean, like they're
on TV, you just see him.
Like, hey, so what do you think about Michael King? How's he looking? Is he great? I mean, he's right up in his face.
You got to shove microphones in his face.
Lights.
It's a big semicircle of people all around him, and they're within a couple feet away at the very most. It's pretty close. It's not a natural situation.
Yeah.
After the game, he's more at a table kind of situation. It's a little bit usually more comfortable, but that's like live on television.
Yeah, for sure.
Every single day, and he's got to quickly think about what he wants to say. He brings his, he's got his notes he always has, hey, I wanted to bring this up. I wanted to bring that up as he goes through the game, and he brings it with him because he knows he's going to have to be answering and talking about everything that happened after every single game.
Yeah.
I thought interesting. You asked him, as you said you were going to, about pitch tipping and signals being sent in from runners on second base. And I hadn't really considered, but you said you do this sometimes in your adult league baseball. Sure. That, they may look like they're sending in a signal, but it could just be gamesmanship. Yeah. Throw your arm up and make the other team spin out. Like, are we giving something away when you're not really giving anything away? But now you got to think about, am I doing this right? Am I hiding it enough? And maybe it distracts you to throw a pitch where you're not supposed to throw it, even though you didn't tip it at all. Sure. You were thinking about tipping it because you saw him tugging at his pant leg.
That's what I do.
Holding his arm out. And all of a sudden, that's just gamesmanship.
I'll do the helmet on. I'll do the helmet on, helmet off, type deal. Kind of take my helmet up, rub my – I don't get second base very much, so also at home. Home or on the field. But when I do, I'm always I'm looking at when the pitcher looks back at me, I'll tug my pants legs or something. Make like, does he throwing a fastball, and did he just relay it? So I've never stolen a sign in my life because I have no idea how to do it. But I always mess with them just to make them think that I am.
So, but then there is the real. I mean, he says they have someone. He didn't say who it was that is in charge of both, like defending it and stealing them.
Yep.
Presumably, is looking at film, is looking at potential tells, is letting the players know here's what to look for when you're out on second base. Here's what the signals are if you've got it. I mean, insight. Padres are just like every other team. They're looking for any edge that they can find.
Well, and they're looking
to stop,
and they're looking for the other teams looking for an edge too, which is like it can drive you crazy if you let
you're
it.
never going to catch them all, and it's just a constant battle between the opposition, an intelligence war, kind of like the CIA, basically. Yep. You got to change your signals. You got to change things about. Mostly it's protecting your grip and your glove, I think, as a pitcher now with the pitch comm. Shouldn't be the catcher is giving it away on the signals, but the catcher, with the positioning, if they get, too early on the outside corner, they do a lot of like jumping, like they'll line up outside and then at the last second move to the inside of the plate, but they can't do that every time either. So it's a chess match, as Mike Shildt said.
You saw Kenley Jansen a week or so ago when the Angels, were playing the Dodgers. Shohei got on second and he just balked on purpose. And he's done that before. I don't want him. I don't want him at second. I don't want him giving location. I don't want him giving anything. So he just balked him over to third. They were up 2 runs. So he's like, this run doesn't count. I don't want him to be able to give location or maybe even the sign. And he hits a 2-run homer. The ball game's tied. So I'll balk you over to third. Don't care about your run. Good move. Smart move. Very baseball savvy move to get Shohei Ohtani off second base.
All right, We're going to take our final timeout. When we come back, Adam Klug has some headlines, including a story I know Woods is looking forward to.
Oh, you're not?
In our Klug report. Not as much as you are.
Come on.
I don't get the point of it.
Don't be this guy.
I don't.
Don't be this guy. Everybody, I don't. Don't be this guy.
I really don't.
All right.
We'll get to that coming up next. Ben Woods wrapping it up on a Friday on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Well, before I head out on my spiritual journey, I will be filling up my water bottle with a big, giant tub of Eco Water. We've got it here at the office now. So now I get it at home. I get it at work. Very happy. You should get the Eco Water system in your home. Eco Water SoCal, been keeping water soft since 1925. Hard water is no joke. The joke, or the stuff that you're drinking in your home, the stuff that you may be cooking with, washing your fruits and vegetables with, there's not a lot of good stuff in it. All right. You can get a free in-home water test today with Eco Water. Try the Soft Life and alkaline water for now only $9.95 a month. Their number is 760-350-3338. You can also go to ecowatersocal.com. If you do call, let them know Woodsy sent you over there. Going to take good care of you. Had the unit now for a couple of years. Couldn't be happier. They've come out once to look at it, and it's just been a dream. It's so easy. We have the best bottled quality water every single day, and we really don't even have to do anything. It's phenomenal. So check it out for yourself, 760-350-3338, or again, go to ecowatersocal.com. Let them know Woodsy sent you. Not everything in life should be hard, especially your water, keeping it soft since 1925. Eco Water, your water should be perfect. New to
me.
you?
Yeah. So I told you I went to San Diego State, was doing a story on the Aztecs. Miles Bird returning. Talked to Mark Ziegler. He's a voter in the AP poll.
Okay.
And he said to me, I haven't looked at every team, but he said, I'll probably have them 15 to 20.
Nice.
Sports Illustrated did a new top 25 yesterday, a little early, too early top 25. They had San Diego State at number 17. So trending toward a top 20 team to start the year. But then I was coming back and happened to see, and I was hungry. I hadn't eaten since I had a couple slices of pizza, but this was like 3 in the afternoon. And I was just feeling a little
lightheaded,
peckish, as they
peckish.
say. And I saw this place. It was a truck called Carnitas La Benedicción, and looked nice. Like they had nice tables set out in front. And I pulled in and just got one carnitas taco. It was very, very good.
That sounds so good. All we've talked about is food all morning. I'm dying.
I need to go back on Tuesday. They had $1.25 Taco Tuesday special. So can't wait to go back and try it again at a smaller price point next time.
Why was it an expensive price point?
That was like a $4 taco. It was big.
Good
it was
size.
A lot of meat, good carnitas in it. But
Save that. Go ahead. Is it time for Klug Report?
It will be right after our last check of traffic here on
Let's
97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Just a couple things to mention here, guys. Watch out for some debris on the Pacific Highway off-ramp northbound 5. Also, a collision westbound 8 before Mollison. It's in the center divide. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the
Klug
Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the
Klug
Report. Right. 2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed. It's the
Klug
Report on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
If I had to choose, that's all I'm saying.
I used to think like you did that carne asada was the premium, the best of all the Mexican meats.
Yeah.
But
you like carnitas.
I love pork. Yeah.
Save that, please.
I said I love. I didn't say I like. I said I love.
It's all right. I want
to
hear you saying I love pork.
Yeah. It's just more, fat carries flavor, and you're going to get a little higher fat content in the good cuts of pork. All right, Adam, it's up to you to carry us the rest of the way.
Enough pork talk here on the
It's not kosher for Adam. So
It is not. It is not. Had to turn the music off here for just a moment. Stick with me. Hello, guys. How are you?
Hello, Kluger. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
A lot of people noticing the shine on your forehead on the chat.
But I've chosen not to go hoodie, right? We've had that conversation.
You know what? Next time, would you just wear the hoodie instead?
People are telling me I should wear a hat. Could have worn a hat.
You have a spotlight right on your head, right on his dome, and you see it on the thing. Very shiny. Wow.
Everyone wearing me out, but it's all good.
Hey, welcome to Ben & Woods, my friend. That's what happens.
All right, guys, stick with me here. The Edmonton Oilers beat the Dallas Stars 6-3 last night to advance to the Stanley Cup Finals, where they'll have a rematch from last year with the the Florida Panthers.
Yep.
That is. Edmonton won the game on the road in Dallas, and the Oilers had a watch party for their fans inside the arena back in Edmonton.
Okay.
After the win, the Clarence C. Campbell Bowl, which is the trophy awarded to the Western Conference champs, was presented to Oilers star Connor McDavid.
Yes.
Did he touch it?
He touched it.
Oh,
McDavid touched the trophy and then called his teammates over for a photo op, and they all touched the trophy as well.
It's extremely bad luck, yes?
That's the thinking.
Kiss of death.
You don't touch anything until the Stanley Cup.
So last season, the Oilers did not touch the trophy, but lost to the Panthers in 7 games. And so they're trying to switch it up. The Panthers touched the Prince of Wales trophy, awarded to the Eastern Conference winner in 2023, and then they lost the Stanley Cup Finals.
Okay.
They decided not to touch it last year, and they won it.
Yeah, hockey players are pretty consistent with their tradition, but it hasn't been successful. There has been no Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup since the 1993 Montreal Canadiens. So 32 years. I mean, it's their sport.
So Edmonton is the third team to touch the ball since 2006. There's actual stats on this. The Colorado Avalanche did it in 2022 before defeating the Tampa Bay Lightning in 6 games in the Stanley Cup.
Okay, so they won it.
And the Golden Knights touched it in 2018 before losing.
Ooh.
So it sounds, I mean, this sounds crazy, but it almost as if touching the cup has no impact on whether you win the Stanley Cup or not.
So I mentioned there was a watch party back in Edmonton. Here is the fans inside the arena's reaction.
Oh, yes.
When Connor McDavid touched the cup.
They're hyperventilating.
This guy is nervous beyond belief.
Oh, no. Listen, it doesn't have anything to do with it. It doesn't.
Again.
But why give them
If you want to have fun with some superstitions, great.
That's not
If you
fun.
want to let them run your life and have that kind of reaction, you have a problem.
Oh, Bob Melvin. You've got a problem.
You got a problem.
Bob Melvin and his root beer barrels, and you can really spin yourself out with your superstitions.
Is there anything you guys are superstitious about?
Tons.
Give me one.
No.
I'm superstitious in baseball a little bit. If I get a knock, which is so rare, I will use the. Oh, it's embarrassing. So I got a knock a couple weeks ago. It's been a while, and the next game, I made sure to use the exact same shampoo and conditioner before the game, and then I put my socks on the exact same way, and I dressed in the order that I dressed that day.
How many different ways are there to put on socks?
Well, you can go right, left. You can go left, right. I remembered specifically.
So 2.
Yeah, right. Yeah, 2. Yeah, inside out or not. You can wear them inside out. But I do that all the time.
I'd be willing to bet Ben is not superstitious.
But I got a knock. Again,
if I had any, it would be like with my golf game. Like if you make a birdie, you can't change the golf bar or anything. But I do not believe in any of that.
So you do though. You just said that's one.
You could, but I don't.
You just said if I
make a birdie, but
you
I feel
don't
like
change
the ball
is
scuffed, I'm going to change it.
Oh, you will?
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
I thought you said you would.
People have those superstitions. Even professional golfers occasionally will. You've seen tin cup tees in the left pocket, right pocket. I mean. I have things I'm comfortable with in terms of, what I do routine-wise, but I wouldn't call them superstitions.
Dominic says, how many different shampoos and conditioners do you use? So I should clarify. Sometimes I rarely shampoo, I just condition. And so that day I remembered I shampooed and conditioned before a game because I worked out a little bit before the game, get my body ready, and I was sweaty. And so I shampooed my hair, conditioned it, got a knock, shampooed and conditioned before the next game.
I'm a big fan of the body wash, shampoo, conditioner all in one. So
I know you are.
You just need one big giant pump bottle in your shower.
We can tell.
You can't tell.
We can tell.
You cannot tell.
Yeah, I can tell.
There's no
Started
difference.
off the show today saying your hair was all
It's
messed
all
up.
the same stuff.
Yeah,
it's just more
tell.
expensive.
Old Spice, 3-in-1.
It's all the same stuff.
Old Suave. Yeah. What do you spend on your shampoo? Nickel?
Kirkland.
Is that where you get?
It's like yay big, and it costs
It's
like $6.
2 feet long.
Smells good. I like it, so I just get the giant bottle from Kirkland
Of all
Costco.
3-in-1.
Yeah. I mean, if there was a 4-in-1, I'd get that one.
Do they make 4? What
I've
would
never
be the
heard of
fourth?
a 3-in-1.
You never heard of 3-in-1?
Shampoo, conditioner,
and body wash.
and body wash?
Yeah.
You're shampooing
It's
all
all
over your
just
body?
All over your body.
It's all just
It's also.
It's not.
It is.
It's not.
When you have hair like me, it doesn't really matter.
That's true. Or lack thereof. Yes.
I can't believe we.
Yeah,
bought-
you can use anything on
whatever.
yours. It doesn't matter.
Whatever. I take a bar of soap and just rub my
Do
head.
you?
No. It's a funny joke, though.
I think you can buy bars of
I
soap
don't love
for
bar-
like 69
You can't.
cents.
I don't love bars of soap.
I don't
either.
either.
They just.
Do you use a loofah or a
Are we
washcloth?
really going bars
No,
of soap?
just-
Hold on here
Just
with
my
bars
hands,
of soap.
just with
Hold
the-
on.
just-
This is
just-
weird. This bugs me.
Now
He takes.
I feel like loofahs get really dirty. Like you'd have to change them after.
You know what
every-
else gets really dirty? Your body, and you need to
My
scrub
hand,
it.
No, you wash your get
Okay.
the soap on your hands. Now your hands are clean, and you just use that and just rub
You
it.
scrub yourself with your
everywhere.
hands.
Yes.
How do you get like a clean? That's so
Where
weird.
else would you? I mean, what else?
Get a
do you need?
loofah
No,
or a squishy.
they're gross.
They're not.
They're kind of gross.
No washcloth even?
No.
We're
You just have
skipping-
more laundry to do. What's the point?
Let's stay on the bar of soap.
We're skipping story
How
number
often
2.
do you wash the towel you use to dry yourself?
I don't do laundry. My wife washes it continuously.
Like every single time?
I'll use twice maybe.
At least 3 or 4 times before I need to do the laundry.
Let's skip story number 2. Basketball happened last night. The Knicks will beat the Pacers.
Knicks won.
Told you
Game 6 coming.
They'd come to play. They
I said we're skipping story 2.
They weren't going to want to be eliminated and embarrassed for that New York audience.
Go ahead.
Dr. Squatch is apparently a personal product care company that I wasn't aware existed.
Yeah, I've used them before.
They make things like soap and deodorant.
We're doing another soap story.
We really weren't. This is
This
totally
was not planned.
They've teamed up with the one and only Sydney Sweeney to make a men's bar of soap using, wait for it, drops of actual bathwater that Sydney bathed in.
So
I'm not kidding.
She takes a bath, nude.
You
Then
don't know that.
I guess not. Then they get the bath water out, and then they use it to make Sydney Sweeney's bathwater soap.
This is a limited edition product with only 5,000 bars made. And if you ask me, this is extremely cringy.
Well, obviously, it's limited edition. If you wanted to sell it on a mass scale, Sydney would just be needed to constantly be taking baths in their production facility.
If you
so
buy
they have
this
enough
product,
water for it.
come on, dude, you're a creep.
How much is it?
I didn't
I heard
see
it's
price.
pricey.
You're also a mark if you're buying this. At the most, there's like a dropper full of water.
Yeah, what are you gonna do with it? Eat
that,
it?
What? Touched your body somewhere, and that's special to you somehow.
Hold on, I'm looking up price. $8 a bar. All right, for $8, I might buy it.
$8 for a bar of
You,
soap.
sir, are a creep.
It's not a creep. I want to.
Yes, you are exactly.
No, I was just gonna say. I just want to see what it smells like.
Creep.
Is that
Smells
bad?
like whatever scent they put in it at the factory that they're making it in.
Saw someone on Twitter say, "I'll be cussing up a storm in front of my parents at 32, so they'll put soap in my mouth."
Wash your mouth out with soap.
Okay, I'm gonna wash your mouth out with soap. Sounds good. Yeah, it's a little weird. I remember when Kiss did this with their comic books. They put out comic books in the 70s, and they all went to the factory and they took vials of blood and they all poured their blood into the ink. So it was like, I don't know, like, oh, this is Kiss made with Kiss's real blood.
Weren't they selling dirt from the Oakland Coliseum? I mean,
Yeah, it's
dirt.
People collect stuff.
Dirt in a jar.
I just want to see what it smells like. I bet it smells delicious. Really bet it smells great.
She doesn't smell. She smells like a person or whatever product she uses.
It's funny that you think that.
She's just a person.
It's weird.
Just like the rest
It
of
is a
us.
little weird. I'm going to give you that.
You may smell better than she does.
I may.
You use
I
a
may.
lot
I
of
use a lot of products,
good smelling products,
things like that. I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird thing. I think it's fun. She's having fun with it. You know, you're not going to be hot forever. Embrace it. This doesn't take away. I saw people like, oh, this is why she's destined to, do the kind of movies that she does. It's like, I think she's just having fun with it. I don't think it's that deep. I don't think it's that deep. She's having fun with it.
No,
people think she's
it's
attractive and they're like, oh, God, I would drink her bathwater. She's like, all right, prove it. Why don't you bathe with my bathwater? So pretty good.
Yeah. If it's all taken in a good spirited fun, fine.
Jordan with the conspiracy. I bet it's not even her bathwater. Could be. That's how
It's going to
they
be
get you.
very hard for scientists like, hey, I'm going to have this soap tested and to make sure it has a little bit of Sydney's DNA in it.
It's like, sometimes you go get a bottle of water. You're like, you really got this from a glacier somewhere? Really? Okay. Sounds good to me. If you say so. Some glacier in Antarctica.
Did this really come from Fiji?
Yeah,
I don't know. But this is actually... Did you ship it all the way from Fiji? Because that seems expensive to do that.
I like Sydney Sweeney. I do. I'm a fan.
Can your water really make you smarter?
Yeah, Eco Water makes me smarter. This smart water here. This is just the bottle.
You put the Eco Water
in the smart water. Yeah, that's how I do it every day.
I don't believe that the water that was used to be in that bottle actually makes you smart, or is any smarter than any other water.
Eco Water. Simply the best.
All right, Adam, thank you for filling
Kluger.
in
Great
the
job.
last couple of days.
I enjoyed it, guys.
We will have Paulie Reindl set to return to us on Monday morning.
Can't wait to hear his stories. His wife did text me and say, make sure you ask him about the penis that he dropped and almost had to buy. So I said, okay, sounds good. It was like a souvenir penis of some sort. And I said, I will make sure to ask him about the that collectible that he almost dropped and broke, and he would have had to buy it.
Is this from like the
I don't know
gift
where they
store
went
at the hotel?
I
or
doubt it. Did they go to the Larry Flint store in Vegas potentially?
where they are spending their vacation time in Las Vegas.
But yeah, so I'm looking forward to hearing that story, and that glare is something else. I mean, it is really.
Did you ever try adjusting the lighting on your light there, Adam? It changes colors. You can go with a less reflective light.
I mean,
just turn it off maybe entirely.
That is something.
Still
else.
glare.
It's
actually
it's from the top.
It's actually the studio lights, not the ring light.
I've never seen anything like it.
Oh, that's much better. We
Much
should
better.
do
We
the
should
show
do
in the
this
dark
more
every
often.
single day. That looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Adam now looks like he's in witness protection.
Yep.
And we won't have to identify him any further. All right.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Let's do this. And we've got Matt Scraby coming up next. We got Padres baseball for you tonight. 5:40 Eco Water SoCal pregame show with Sam Levitt. 6:40 first pitch against the Pittsburgh Pirates.
If you hear me yelling out in the middle of the desert, no, you didn't.
Enjoy your weekend
Wasn't
in
me.
Joshua Tree.
I will.
Give us some stories on Monday morning. We'll
believe it.
talk to you then at 6 a.m. For Adam Klug, for Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Enjoy your weekend from all of us here at San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So long, everyone.